is a minute on the...
Hello, everybody! Welcome back to this week's episode of All Fun and Dice on this beautiful Friday before a snowstorm.
It's snowing in Canada.
Wow.
Is it actually snowing this day?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's snowing.
Newfoundland has disappeared under snow.
Yes, it
Has
does
it?
not exist
But
anymore.
Yeah, we could be in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
They don't know where we
don't
are.
know where we live.
Except they do.
Yeah.
Ambiguous parts of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Canada's just one place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I take a step over and I'm in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So.
Travis?
Every time.
I thought my phone's not even on. I don't understand.
Wait. Yeah.
It's actually not even open. Like the app wasn't even open. That's weird.
Oh, amazing.
You're kicked out of the
Okay.
show.
Other than that interruption, I don't think we have anything to announce at the beginning of the stream today. So we'll just jump straight in to this week's episode 21 of All Fun and Dice. So last week, after resting amongst the cushions and draperies of Turlise's front room, our party awoke to find Eerie in some sort of fitful coma, shifting between multiple forms. After asking their final questions, receiving small gifts, and confirming that Eerie will be alright, the group left the comfortable houseboat to meet with Akano and board his ship, the Gift of Variety. Adjusting to life aboard the flying ship amongst Akano and his 3 children was easier for some more than others, especially Gray, with his newly realized fear of heights. Eventually, all able members of our group assembled on the deck to see before them the shattered islands, an array of floating isles supposedly full of dangerous creatures. Soon after, a wyvern appeared, being chased by a flock of harpies, attempting to take solace upon the ship's deck. Our heroes quickly dispatched the flying foes before being ambushed by yet another wyvern, grief-stricken by the death of its partner. Again, the group killed the second wyvern, and while cleaning up the now gore-covered deck, Lonan found an egg tucked within a pouch on the wyvern's body. With the new prize in hand, the party went below deck just in time for Eerie to sit up in her hammock with a gasp. So we start this week's session not on board a deck of a ship, and not below its decks. We're in a beautiful field of grass, with a calm sky above us, clouds rolling, and Eerie, you open your eyes to see all this around you. The calmness of nature, the whistling of the wind through the grass. What do you want to do?
I'll just sit up and try and put my hands in the grass and like wiggle my fingers through the grass and kind of feel.
It feels like grass. Looking at it, it looks kind of a strange color. It's not quite the typical greens that you're used to, either trekking across Kaderth or in Drin or in the Ondu jungle where you're from. It's more of a pale, almost silvery color. And as you look around, you can see that you can't see much of a horizon because the grass around you is much lower. But as it gets out of the small grove, you can see some trees, but the grass gets much taller than your head. At least probably 5, 6, 7 feet tall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will stand up and like take a deep breath in.
This smells clean.
Okay, and I'm gonna walk towards one of the trees.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is it a big tree?
It's a fairly small one. It looks like from the distance, it looks kind of birchy. It has that typical, you can see a little bit of that peeling bark on it. And as you walk towards it, you kind of hit with the realization that you shouldn't be here. You weren't here a minute ago. The last thing you remember is the warm draperies and the candles and the cushions, the clawing hands of Gray's Zone of Truth as Lonan spilled his guts about that night, that dreadful night of Merchant King Elia's death. And you weren't in your plane at all. You were in the plane of air. So you kind of hit with that on your walk towards this tree.
Okay. I'm going to kind of like spin around a little bit and be like, Gray?
And there's
Gray?
no response.
Pippin? Lon? gonna start yelling. their
Nothing.
names. Nothing.
As the wind gusts, roll a quick perception check. Oh wow!
It like jumped
Yeah.
out. And that
I mean, it rolled flat.
Very strange.
Very eerie.
Eerie, you
Ooh.
might say.
Yes.
Perception?
Yes.
16.
16. As you're yelling, Loudon, Gray. A gust of wind brushes by you, causing the sea of grass to ripple like waves in an ocean. And you can hear the grass. Instead of its normal tussling sound, it almost sounds like whispering voices.
Mm-hmm.
Run. Go. Run.
I'm going to
Escape.
I'm not going to start running yet, but I'm going to kind of like start like, speed walking a little bit.
Yeah. Are you still towards the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're getting closer and closer, the grass is starting to kind of disappear. Not disappear. The grass is kind of cause the rest of the environment around you to disappear with this growing height. And within a few moments, you are swallowed up by this sea. Do you keep going?
I'm going to start running now.
You start running?
Yeah.
Okay. And as you run, the voices just keep getting louder. Unsafe. Don't go. Flee. Run. Run! All in whispering tones.
I'm like pushing the grass aside, trying to find like anything that's not grass.
And just as you are starting to lose the hope, and just as soon as you're about to lay, you feel like your legs are burning. You feel as if you've been burning for minutes, tens of minutes. You burst through,
Okay.
and you see the tree. And at its base, you see a body. Not of a human,
Is it
of a strange cat-like creature.
Oh.
Unlike something you've ever seen. The thing you would relate the closest to is the tigers of the Ondu that you've seen, but this is much larger.
Mm-hmm.
3-4 times a tiger's size.
Jeez.
Even its sleeping body beneath the tree appears to tower over you, as its whites and silvers of its stripes, glaringly different than the orange and blacks you're used to. And that's what you see as you burst out, panting from the grass.
Okay. I'm gonna stumble a little bit and like stop
Yeah.
and try not to make any noise. Oh.
Okay. And just as you think, a minute passes, doesn't move. You go to take a step backwards, and its ears perk, and its eyes open, revealing a similar black to your own.
Mm-hmm.
No pupils, no iris, no sclera, only black as they look at you.
Make eye contact.
And without any movement of its face, you hear a voice. Now who are you?
I'm not gonna say anything out loud. I'm just gonna be thinking in my head. Like, oh my god, who's saying that to me? I'm not gonna tell them my name, but I'm
Okay.
like thinking my name.
Okay. You seem familiar. As it stands in its immense body, 20 feet tall at the shoulder, you would guess. It's hard to tell. Even as it strides towards you, it appears to shift, going from the size of a regular house cat all the way up, disorientingly so, until, without you realizing, it comes up right in front of you, its face to yours. Ah. You. I didn't think you lived.
What?
Do you have a name, child?
Now that we're like face to face, I'm just gonna whisper.
Ah. Eerie. A beautiful name. I'm sure your mother gave it to you.
Who are you?
Ah. You can't tell. Then I think it is not yet time for me to share. But you're not supposed to be here. This is my court, and only half yours.
And I'm
And it's
going
gonna
to like,
bare its teeth.
I was like gonna be like reaching towards it, but as the bear's at sea, I'm gonna like pull my hand back.
No, like deep purr
Uh-huh.
in its throat, almost like a growl. And you can almost feel yourself shaking
Yeah.
at the base of it.
I'm gonna like take a little bit of like a half step back.
You have much to learn. Much.
Who
much.
are you?
Well, I'm the lord of this place. The Mummer's Lord. Visit me one day. Eerie. I would
As,
love to meet you in person.
and I'm
And
gonna
it's gonna raise its paw
okay.
and kind of touch the top of your head. And the paw is like almost twice the size of your head around on the front. So as it touches your head, you feel this weight, more than it would possibly push down, and you feel the weight almost on your whole body. Awaken, child. And this is where we all come in.
And that's when she's
And
like,
you're setting up with a gasp.
oh, well, look who's awake finally.
Oh, finally.
Welcome back, Eerie.
You weren't responding very well earlier, but...
And I'm gonna be like kind of shaky.
How do you feel? What does she look like?
So you guys notice that Eerie is in a form that you guys don't recognize. She's a little bit taller than she normally would be, with a nice rosy complexion to her skin and long, curly, blonde, honey-colored hair. A smattering of freckles over looks like what was once a pretty nose, but looks like maybe it was broken in childhood. In a slight frame, but in a similar slight frame to what she normally would have, even in her changeling form, but in the same outfit, of course. And with very stark, brilliant green eyes, like emerald pools.
Cool.
Wow.
When you wake up, you see me holding a dragon egg too. I'm like,
It actually just looks like a geode rock.
I'm just like staring at it. Like the entire time, I'm basically just caressing this dragon egg. I wish I had like a giant like thing that I could just hold.
How do
Your
you...
bag.
Dragon egg?
Honey.
Your dice bag.
Your
Your dice
Oh, my
bag.
dice bag, yeah.
It's like probably like 3 times the
Here,
size
here,
of
no,
that.
no,
Yeah.
hold
And
on.
Worthington. There you go.
And rather than, yeah, just like...
Eerie, how do you feel?
Yeah, you've been out for a while.
I don't know how to feel. I had the weirdest dream.
Yeah?
I don't really know what it means.
You were unconscious for quite a while. You
Yeah.
kept shifting between different forms.
I'm gonna kind of like look down at myself and be like, do I recognize, like, I guess I can't see my
You can
face.
see your hands, and they have like well manicured fingers, very long, almost like a piano player's.
Okay. How long was I out for?
It's hard for us to keep track of time, but I would guess several days at this point.
So you mean
Days.
several breaths?
Yeah, several breaths.
You
As
wouldn't
you-
understand.
And
The
I'm just
sky-
gonna be like,
The sky doesn't seem to change on the elemental plane of air. It's just continuous blue. So we're having a hard time keeping track of time.
Also, nice of you to come around. We just got done killing a bunch of wyverns.
We killed a bunch of wyverns.
Are
Lonan
you
found an egg.
blaming me for not being.
No,
awake?
no, it's fine. It's actually been very helpful. I was able to conduct some experiments that I plan on doing further work on.
On me?
No, well,
I did not.
Uh,
I'm shaking
Tangentially.
my head, yes.
I'm like, oh no, I put her organs in backwards.
Yeah, that's why she feels so weird.
She stands up and her knees are
Her fingers
backwards.
are her toes.
Can I have some water or something, please?
Sure. I'll give her water in one of my potion flasks
Okay.
with a straw in it.
Is that like a curly straw, a crazy one?
It's
yeah,
carbonated
it's a
water?
crazy curly straw, and it's like pink.
Bubbly.
Bubbly.
Perfect. Okay, so where are we right now?
We're on a ship called the Gift of Variety, being traveled around by a bunch of humanoid monkeys called Simates.
I do remember them.
We're making our way to a tower that's on the other side of the plane of air, but we're going to stop at a city, a hive city. I don't know much about it. I think that's our first stop.
And you guys fought dragons?
Well,
Wyverns.
they attacked us on the ship.
Sort of like a lesser dragon, I guess you could say. They don't have any sort of breath weapon.
Okay, maybe I'll just sit for a little longer. I'm feeling a little bit, weird still.
Yeah, you look different, but that's usual now, I guess.
So I just had
Okay,
which...
I'll try and look normal again, I guess.
Here, try to look like me.
And I'm gonna like,
Another wyvern egg
And
pops
I'm gonna
out.
try and look like Pippin.
And you try for a minute. Roll a d20 for me.
Just a flat d20.
Just a flat d20.
14.
14. So it takes a minute, and you've seen Eerie kind of change on a dime, even especially when she was in this kind of coma, in this like spiritual journey. You saw her shifting like really rapidly at times, almost disorientingly. But it takes a few minutes for you to focus and kind of concentrate long enough for the hair to like almost pull back into your head and curl as it goes, like you're turning a vibrant teal, eventually turning into Pippin.
Incredible.
Did it work?
So you did? She did turn into Pippin?
Yeah, she copied me.
Does she have like ditto eyes? Come on, please. Come on.
No.
She could make her eyes like that, I guess.
So she
No,
looks,
she can't. It has
so
to
she
be the
looks
exact-
exactly like Pippin. Like
Except in her own clothes.
this.
Yeah,
Okay,
which
so-
would be actually fit incredibly well, surprisingly.
So when she shifts, the clothing has no effect whatsoever,
Just her
right?
body.
Just my physical body.
Interesting.
the
Can
clothing's
you
actually
do-
a little bit stretched
Yeah.
from when you were turning
Can
into
you
those larger
can you do my
forms.
voice?
I do sound like you.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
That's
Wow.
The
insane.
same.
Really?
Yeah, let's just change clothes and sometimes they won't even know who's who.
Wait a minute.
Ain't that something?
So how long did you have this ability and not know that you had this ability?
Her whole life.
My
She just
entire
found out.
life.
Yeah, Lona, what if somebody did that? Like, what if somebody changed to look like you and maybe did that thingy?
Killed the Merchant King? That's actually
Wow.
a crazy idea.
That is great.
Alternate universes, people can change. Isn't that crazy?
I know Lonan's looking at me like I had something to do with this. Meanwhile,
Is that
I've
what
been
true?
in the jungle since I was born.
Yeah, like practicing your karate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
What if you did?
Great, that's a really good idea.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Eerie, do you feel like me? Do you feel like you're in my headspace, or do you feel like you?
I feel like me, but I look like you.
How many times can you do this?
I have no idea.
Try to turn into all of us.
no. If she does this again, what if she goes
I'm
unconscious
not
for another
like
10 days?
your-
Oh yes, we don't.
Yeah, I'm not your plaything.
Yeah.
To,
Let's not push it. We don't want to risk anything happening.
I feel like you should stay whatever form you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's
Though
not-
I would like to run some tests.
Yeah, don't look like Pippin though. A little bit confusing.
Yeah, don't look like me.
And I'm gonna be kind of like, alright. And then just try and go back to like my normal eerie state, which is now, my changeling.
The changeling
state.
form, and it easily this time you don't
It
have to
just
focus
kind
at
of
all. It kind of
melts
just
off.
like wax dripping in before it hits the ground. It fades away to nothing.
That is.
Wow. Well, I think we still have quite a lot of time before we reach this Hive city. I have some work to do in my makeshift laboratory that I've built over here in the ship. This is my corner. All of you stay out of it, and then I'm gonna walk away into my little lab.
Now I'm gonna go back upstairs on the top of the deck and hang out with Akana.
Okay.
Wait, you have a lab downstairs and upstairs?
No,
Just
I
downstairs.
in the bottom of the ship where we're staying, I like pushed a bunch of crates to make off a little sectioned area where I've set up all my equipment.
Yeah, like separate from the hammocks that you guys are resting in.
And I'm gonna go cook.
Okay.
Yep.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to go up to the top deck
Okay.
and just get some fresh air and maybe take a look around and see where we're at.
Okay. Upon walking up, you see Lonan climbing the ladder up towards what looks like a big captain's wheel, and you can see up to all around you, a clear open sky. But to the left of the ship, you can see off in the distance what looks like some floating mountains,
Oh,
bobbing and moving slightly in the air, and nice
the
clear
rest
air,
is just air.
open sky.
It's so creepy.
Yeah, and there's clouds all over the open sky. It's not just
Yeah.
all clear blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So you're following me up there?
I'm not following you, I'm just,
So you're just like there.
up
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Oh, Lonan!
Good morning, Akana. I don't know if it's morning or night. It's very hard to tell anymore.
What's his morning?
Never mind.
Good breath.
Ah, you mean
Well, how are you feeling? I know that you really appreciate you healing our friend there. Perhaps next time we get attacked, you could help us out.
Oh, well, possibly. I do try to defend the ship as much as possible, but I was doing evasive maneuvers.
Right, so defend the ship, but do you think in the future you could possibly defend us or help us out at all?
Well, it depends on everything, but I can do my best. I do have my glaive, as Gray would call it.
Well, let's hope that we can get back to where we need to go. Sorry, not back to where we need to go. Just let's hope that we can go to, there
Yes.
safely at this point.
Yes. Now that we are at the Shattered Isles, should not take much longer.
Shattered Isles. Well, sorry,
Yes,
we're
Reno,
past-
Hian on Sai is
We-
very close at hand.
But we passed the Shattered Isles, correct?
Oh, well, we still need to move similar to them. Ish.
So we're not going to be attacked by anything else, you don't think?
Oh, I moved us far enough away. Nothing should be able to fit.
Sorry. Sorry.
We'll stop.
Nothing should be able to get this far. Should
Okay.
be safe.
Well,
Should be.
For now, I'll just keep an eye out. Do you have any sort of devices that can help me look? I don't know anything about ships.
Oh,
Would I know? Okay, I guess I would know what a looking glass would look like
Yes.
a binocular kind of thing.
Yeah.
Would I know the name of it? I guess.
a telescope?
Spyglass.
I guess would I know of a telescope? I don't think I've ever had to deal with anything.
Probably. Like, it's up to you. I don't know.
I will say yes. Do you happen to have a telescope I can keep an eye out just to make sure no more dragons would want to attack us?
Telescope.
Something that I can. I'm gonna gesture that I
Oh.
can see in the distance.
Your friend Pippin took it
Oh,
down below.
he took it below. I don't think that's gonna get much use down there if you ask me.
Well, you should go get it. Get it.
I'm gonna go walk back downstairs.
Okay. Oh there. Hello. And this is Akano, the tall with the white hair.
The one that I made myself look like.
No, that was the golden monkey. This
Oh,
is the one.
golden.
This
I
is
think
this
this
is
is
the
my
one
hair.
that carried you to releases.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Good awaken.
Hi.
I would watch your step. That's some gore on the deck. And you look back, and you're about to step on just a big pool of blood.
I'm gonna be like,
Yeah. They just battled.
okay. I'm gonna sidestep around it and be like, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can help with? I guess.
Oh, you can clean it up.
Regret. Over Yuri's face. Okay. I guess I'll.
Here, Nanima can get you a mop. I believe is the word, or broom.
Mop? I think a mop would work better.
We only have one thing. Words
Okay.
were unclear.
Okay.
And they'll say something that sounds like a crack of lightning. You look up and you see a smaller kind of version of Ikano kind of swoop down with wings that lands and will scurry under and bring you what looks like is a mop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it and I'll just kind of I don't have any water or anything. Do I?
No.
I'm just spreading blood around.
It's a quicker picker upper.
Yeah. And then I'm going to
Drained it off the side of the ship.
Drink it.
You just ring it off
Ring it
into
off
the
the side
and
of
it
the
just
boat.
kind of bleeds off into the horizon, into the endless sky.
Okay, I'll just
That's
be working
something.
away at
Yeah.
that. And then once it's just evenly spread.
Yeah, you almost stained the wood.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
nice red
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I'll be like,
Yeah, burgundy.
I'll just kind of lean it against something. I'm not gonna put it away.
My thanks.
Okay,
Go.
I could maybe use a little bit of food.
Oh, Gray has cooked.
Okay.
He has food named corn. Quite
I
delicious.
forgot he had some.
Why does it have so much corn?
Last session we just had corn everything.
Literally.
But apparently
It was
it's
like a
good for
corn
us though.
stew.
It's not
It was good
it's not
stuff.
just corn by
Is it just
itself.
corn and water?
Yeah, it was just corn.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Corn water's the best.
Okay. Okay, thanks. I'll go see him.
Goodbye.
Bye. And I'll go down and get myself some corn water.
You just take a ladle.
So I walk down
Drink and chew.
to Pippin.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm in my little laboratory, and you can see that I've got myself hooked up to an IV.
Is he is he hidden behind his area that do not go to area?
There's not a door.
And it's not really that high. You can see his head over the
You can see my
boxes.
head walking around.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk in. Pippin.
Yes.
So I walk in with just stop talking. What are you doing exactly?
So I have all of my beakers and stuff set up on different crates that I've moved around, And there's one like large vat that's full of like it's like a huge spinning turbine inside of it, full
Okay.
of fluid,
Alright.
and then it's connected to like an IV that's attached to my wrist.
So, like looking at his wrist, do I like? Is it a bunch of like colors going into his skin?
It's just there isn't anything actually pulsing through yet.
Yeah, I've just attached it.
Yeah, it's only been a
So
few.
I walk-
It's only been a few moments.
So I
Yeah.
walk in, I'm like brushing my like the dust from like this space dust off me.
Yeah.
I'm like
Space
Pippin,
dust.
Hello.
Pippin, what are you doing?
Okay.
I'm running
And
some tests.
I'm gonna grab his arm and just like look at it.
I'm running some tests.
Is that safe?
Most likely, we'll see. I'll be monitoring the results.
Do you need help with anything to make sure that you're not gonna collapse just like Erie did?
Tenaculum's here, and then I'll point, and there's like a giant blue slug on the side of the crate.
You
I'm
actually
gonna
look,
touch
and he's
that.
actually like spinning the turbine. He's like attached to it. And he's,
Yeah,
like,
I've got him.
go.
He's in like the equivalent of like a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
He's slowly like slugging across it, and it's turning.
Yeah, it's like.
That's Well, let Tenaculum know to come get me if anything happens.
I've informed him. What do you need?
I need the binoculars.
Oh.
Sorry, the telescopes.
Spyglass. Here
Yes,
you
spyglass. Thank you. Once again, let me know if you need anything, and I'm gonna like kind of scurry back upstairs.
Sure
Okay.
thing, Lona.
And so with that, you guys kind of get into a cycle. The days are fairly similar, and sometimes storms blow through, washing the deck with like intense rain that turns to hail halfway
Does
through.
it wash the blood off?
It does. Eventually, the blood is gone, and
Can we all run out when it's raining and get like a quick shower?
Yes, yes. And you can see that all the children in Akano bring out like buckets whenever it rains to fill up the water. That's what Gray uses to cook, and that's what you guys use to
Yep.
drink as well.
Oh yeah, I guess there's
Replenish
no
on the
other way to
supply.
get water.
And it does rain quite frequently, but it's not often big, like outrageous events. Sometimes it's just like you're flying through and like for 5 minutes it's like and then stops. Like it's just everything is all very chaotic and hectic.
It's very cool.
I have a question. So when we're on the spaceship, is there like a dome over us? Are we
What
just like
spaceship?
sorry?
It's not a spaceship.
Does this ship out in space? That's
We're
not
not
a
in
spaceship.
space though.
We're not in space.
You didn't know.
We're in the
You're
air.
just in open air.
We're not
Oh,
we're not
I thought we were in
outer
the space.
No,
No.
we're in outer
No.
space.
What?
Then why are there mountains up in the sky?
They're floating
They're
islands.
floating.
Are there mountains up in
Oh,
outer
I thought we were in
space?
this. I thought we were in space.
No, we're in like an
No.
endless blue sky.
I mean,
Like,
you
how are we
could
breathing
think of
without,
it like asteroids, but it's
how
not
are
like.
we breathing with like out mask?
No,
Mountains
no.
in- you
Sorry,
thought
I
mountains
was
in the
like-
sky was
Picture
I was
like
lost.
an endless blue sky with no ground below
Yeah,
us,
I got it
and
now.
we're in like a pirate boat, like a sailing boat that has like balloons.
But we're in
in
the
it.
air.
Did you think we were
Oriental.
in like an enclosed
But still, regardless,
spaceship?
how are we like? Are we breathing okay? Because like we're
Yeah,
such
it's
high
just
up.
air.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're on the plane of air. There's lots of air.
It's,
travel.
you're not high up in the same plane of existence that you were. You're in a different plane of existence that's just sky.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in
It's
like
time
we're in another universe.
It's time for Lona to take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lonan's like, guys, wait, how are we breathing? We're all just like,
Yeah, like Grace just blew on the deck.
I am going to look with the spyglass and look at like everything that's out there.
Yep, and as the days bleed together, you see the different assorted floating mountains, and you actually do see some ships that look strange with large balloons carrying just a ship with nothing else attached to it, no sails, no nothing.
Okay, but nothing trying to like attack us or anything like that.
No, nothing over the course of the few days, or the breaths at least, as Ikano and his family has known to call them. So it has been. You guys estimate that you've slept probably another like 15 times.
oh wow.
So you've been on the ship for
Wow.
quite a while now, an equivalent of 2.5 of your guys' weeks back on the prime material in Kaderth.
We are like
It has been a while. It has been a while. What?
Have we
talked,
gotten
we
our
talked
air
before,
alerts?
and you gave me more arrows, right?
Um,
You did, yes. And then so now
you got your arrows. You got those arrows back.
hmm.
Yes, and then you harvested those teeth.
the teeth, and you made okay.
Yeah,
So
but you-
because of my question, I guess. Well, my main question is, are they sharper or anything than regular arrows, or is it are they?
You would have to
stronger?
make them into arrows.
You have to
I don't.
fletch
Do you
them.
know how to make arrows? Then you wouldn't be able. You wouldn't be able to know. You wouldn't have the knowledge enough to judge that.
Okay, so the teeth would make arrows, but I wouldn't.
You can guess, but you don't know for sure.
You have to make arrows out of them.
Yeah, or you have to go
Right.
to like an artisan. But you guys are each gonna have an opportunity to tell me what you guys want to do on your downtime, and tell everybody else.
I want to heal.
So,
In my
yeah.
downtime, I want to be going around and copying everyone on the ship.
Okay.
Like, I want to be trying to make myself look like every single person that I
Okay.
come across.
I know exactly.
Like,
Are you
not
like-
on the spot, but like, I'll see someone and I'll be like, today, I'm you.
Are you doing what they do that day too?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and like follow behind them and like
Yeah.
like see if
And
I can
imitate.
see how good I can do it.
So one day Gray's like, I'm gonna go make breakfast, and then Gray's already in there with breakfast made.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And like you don't, but it's like gray in like really tight, eerie clothing.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to do it to like.
In like a bra.
I'm not trying to do it to be like you got pranked. I'm doing it to like practice
Practice
Yes.
becoming
my
people.
new skill.
Yes. And you notice that with the first time you do it with a Kano, he kind of looks at you a bit funny.
And I'm gonna go.
You are fun.
You are
Fun one. Fun.
Thank you.
Would you like to drive?
Yes. And I'm going to like there's no one stopping me from doing this.
No.
That's awesome.
And Akana will actually speak with you in a little bit of broken common. I say more than a little bit. He's fairly fluent in it, but it has the broken sentences. And you actually do get it. He helps you out with a little bit of driving, and if need be, you could probably like man the boat for a little while.
Okay.
But you notice that as you follow, as you learn their names of, because you were introduced to them later on by Akano, his two twins, Lucky Mal and Nani Mal, who are the winged ones that have like more like ringtail lemur-esque traits.
Okay.
And his
Lucky Mal.
Lucky Mal and Nani Mal.
Okay.
And then his older, Huiloa.
Weloa.
Yeah. You notice they are a bit more uneasy when you copy them. And you also realize that as you copy Lakimal and Nanimal, that as much as you have the gorgeous eagle-like wings that are on their backs of a sort of different feathers, different colors, you aren't really able to do anything with them. You can move them, but you can't fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna be like testing out kind of like the boundaries of what I can like do and change to, and like how it feels and how I sound, and just kind of like maybe I do play like a prank or two,
Yeah.
depending, you know.
Like you don't put the corn in the soup one day, and it's like, Gray!
It's just water.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just water soup.
Yeah. And Gray's so tired from not sleeping that he's like,
I could have sworn I put the corn in there.
I'm such a mess.
Where to go?
Speaking of, Gray, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna spend some time with Akano and train our martial prowess with the glaive, and I'm gonna learn things from him and maybe teach some things to him and kind of bond as paladin brothers.
Okay. Training.
Yes.
Yes. Tell me, you are, I saw it during the Wyvern fights. You had, strength.
Yes.
Yes.
Very strong.
Yes. Strength of light. But it was dark.
Dark. Yes.
Yes.
And
Interesting.
then I hold I hold up my hand, and then I just like try to focus in some of like my holy power to the hand itself, and it just like kind of like shadows.
Yeah, it's almost
It
like
cloaks
a
in like a darkness.
yeah, like a boxing glove almost, but not as
Yeah.
like gaudy.
Yeah, and it's like icky.
Fascinating.
Yes.
I can do something
Yeah,
similar.
I've seen.
And he does the same thing, except it's like winds gusting around his fist.
That
Cool.
is cool. Wow.
Interesting. Strong self. Devotion.
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
Yes.
I don't know that word.
Just another path that I went down with my god.
Mm.
Do you want to teach or do you want to practice with these?
Yes, let's. And roll
Okay.
roll a couple let's do athletic. We'll do some athletic contests to see how your training goes.
Okay.
So what did you roll?
Athletics?
Yes.
17?
Oh, he rolled a 19. So roll another one for me. 11.
23.
So quickly,
Big strong.
the first few times, or the first part of your journey, it kind of really overcomes and is overpowering you. He's very overbearing, very quick, and his reflexes and experience with the glaive far outweigh your own, as much as you are fairly proficient with most weapons. Yeah, you don't have a lot of practice with a glaive or a polearm specifically. But nearing the end of the journey, you finally best him in combat. You manage to knock the glaive out of his hand and put it to his throat. And again, he'll laugh. You've learned.
Yes.
Very proud. Very proud.
Thank you for this week of training.
Yes.
It meant a lot.
Week. What is a week?
I mean, these breaths of training.
Yes. They have been wondrous breaths, these ones. These 28 breaths.
Yes.
Yes. Long time since the wyvern.
Yes, it's been a while. The blood all cleaned off nicely.
Yeah. If anything, cleaner now.
Yeah. We had a few rains.
Yes.
That was very good. Well, do I really have to give this back?
Maybe you can purchase later. Okay.
Corn for dinner.
The last one.
Yes.
Special day.
Very special.
How are we surviving nutritionally off of just
It hasn't just been corn.
Okay.
It kind of has been transporting other goods as well, and he does have stores of food,
I
specifically
was like, there is no
like,
nutritional value
yeah.
to the corn.
We all
Whale-
have like brown
Story.
knuckles
Yeah,
from
it's-
iron deficiency.
He has like whale jerkies and different
Okay.
types of meats,
On
as well as some different vegetation. that
Does
he's
this
found.
whale not care if they carve into it?
You never asked. You don't know where it came from. You just know it's whale jerky.
Yeah. It's just the main staple of all of our meals
Yeah.
is corn.
The corn
Yeah.
is just the garnish.
Yeah, it's
like
like
a
the
salty,
little
but
taste of
just
home.
Corn.
Yeah, salt bay with corn.
Pippin, what would you like to be doing?
Okay, so for the first part of our journey, I'm going to spend like an extreme amount of time in underneath the ship in my like makeshift laboratory.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm gonna come out for like days.
Okay.
And whilst I'm in there, I'm not gonna be talking to anyone very much, but I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like basically like acclimating my body to the experiments I'm going to do. And then after that, I'm going to take the vial of Yuri's blood that I was able to take when she was in her like
Coma.
her trance, and I'm going to kind of like mix it into a solution, and I'm going to like mix a bunch of chemicals, do a bunch of alchemy. There'll be like a series of beakers and tubes that all connect to this like large vat that I'm mixing it into. And then I'm going to take out my little broken pocket watch and like unscrew it. And then I'm going to take a little tiny vial out of that and kind of drip it into the solution.
Yep.
And it's going to kind of look like, it's going to be like a little drop of like this dark liquid. It's going to go like
Okay.
through it. And then I'm going to have like a slow drip feed IV.
First, roll a
What the heck is he trying to do?
Make
intelligence
himself a
check, augmented by your
Is this you?
alchemy kit, so you can use proficiency.
Okay, okay.
Is he basically doing a
Oh!
Is it a blood transfusion?
One. Natural one.
Natural one.
Oh
Oh, that's so funny.
So,
Hopes and dreams.
as you're mixing, and as it's going in,
just a blow
things, it doesn't really seem to do very much as you're doing it. You do notice that on the back of your hand, there's a patch of changed color. It looks almost a little sickly, mix between like your regular skin tone and maybe like a darker green. But other than that, you don't notice any other changes.
Alright, I'm going to just kind of like rub my hands on my head and like look at all of my notes I have scattered all over the place. And I'm just gonna like rip them all up and start over.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try, like, I'm gonna be basically doing this for until you say that like our downtime's done.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna be working on this like obsessively, and like if anyone sees me, I'm gonna be like sunken-eyed and sleep deprived.
So roll again. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
Can I also
Sorry.
set a scene? I want to know what he does when I just show up behind him as him at
Okay.
some point in this.
So you are ripping up all your notes,
Yeah.
and you look, and you stop ripping, but you continue hearing ripping,
Okay. And I turn around.
and it's
And I'm ripping up
it's
all your notes,
it's
but I'm
you in Yuri's clothing.
I'm gonna be like, oh, I haven't slept in days. My goodness, is that you, Tenaculum?
What do you mean? Is that you, Tenacula?
And I'm gonna be like, oh no, and I'm gonna like look at the potion that I've been.
Oh no.
I'm gonna look at the potion that I've been like injecting myself with and be like, oh, and I'm gonna try to like think of where I could have went wrong.
And while he's doing that, I'm going to just like stealth like away.
You're gonna try to like. You're gonna, okay.
I want to just like disappear.
Roll a quick stealth check for
How
me
long
then.
are you gonna be? How long are you gonna be Pippin for?
I mean, not long.
Like
I'm just
a
playing
minute or
it
something?
right
Like an
now.
hour or like a day?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay, never mind.
For my second roll, I rolled a
Not bad.
really good.
Okay.
Okay, so I rolled a 26.
Good. That'll affect things later.
Okay.
Good.
20?
20. So
not
you
not
made.
20 though. Just
So as you were like, and as Pippin, as you're like kind of like panicking around, you look back, and the Pippin in Neri's clothing is gone.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like, oh. And then I'm gonna like restart from the beginning with my experiment.
And you just like slink off
Just,
behind the
but,
boxes.
If you were gonna say that you're gonna be Pippin for longer, like transformed into him, I was gonna do that thing where like I walk in and just start talking, and I'm like talking as if I'm talking to Pippin, but like I'm like talking shit about like you and like Gray or whatever.
Are you implying that Loden does that often?
No, I'm just like
Loden
weird,
gossip.
like weird
Yeah.
gossip. Like I was
It's
like,
like, hey
Did
Pippin.
you see?
Yeah, Erie's being like super catty today. Have you seen?
yeah, I know. But anyways, you were only for
Okay.
a minute, so
what
so
would you like to do on your
I'm
downtime?
going
Loden?
to try my hardest to take care of this egg.
Okay.
100% on that, and I'm also, while I'm taking care of the egg, gonna secretly kind of talk to Kano about where the closest area that I would know that would have like vast amount of like, books about raising, like I don't
Right.
even know, eggs. I guess. Like,
So talk to Okana.
So I guess before that happens, like, how am I like? Do I have to roll animal handling for like? taking care of the
Tell
egg?
me what you want to be doing
I just
to
wanna,
care
like-
for this egg.
I just want to like ask everybody that's on the ship and just be like, okay, like, and take everyone's feedback and then kind of use it like that. So if you want to ask everybody how they would take care of an egg, then
You can ask. Loden can ask.
I'll do all
everybody.
that. Okay,
Yep.
so so I'll start with Pippin. I'm gonna go around the entire ship and I'll end with Akano, Willowha or Willowhai,
Huila.
Huilha, Huilha,
Huila.
Huilha.
Willow
Huila.
Okay, I'll end it with the two
Cool.
kids. Well, how old are they? Just out of curiosity.
You can't tell. You have unless you ask
They
someone, you
can't.
wouldn't know.
They can't speak common though, anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Huiola does speak like very. You've tried to speak to her before,
Okay.
but she thought you were trying to eat her book. So
Pippin.
Yes.
Oh, you're not doing so well, are you?
I'm
And-
fine.
What did I?
as Pippin turns his head and looks up at you, you see that he has like his normal incisors have grown a lot, and they're like protruding up past his upper lip, and they're quite thicker than normal, almost like tusks.
Yes.
Do they look like orcs' tusks?
Yeah.
Yes. How can I help you?
At this point, like I normally in my mind would be like wanting to know what the heck's going on, but I don't even care about anything but this egg right now. My motherly instincts have kicked in. Pippin, I'm trying to find out, how do you care for like an egg? Do you know of anything? Do you have good?
An egg.
Yeah.
You're trying to take care of it.
Yes, I'm trying to raise this dragon, so potentially it can be our new Worthington.
Wine.
Have you been keeping it
Wyvernton.
warm?
Yes, I have. This blanket is my thing.
Wyvernton.
Wyvernton. Yes. For those of you who don't know, we left behind our wolf that's called Worthington, and now we have a dragon that could be potentially called Wyvernton.
You're like,
Wyvernton.
he couldn't even concentrate. He just went.
I was like listening to what you were saying, and I'm like,
That's perfect. Okay. So
Lonan, you want to keep it warm, I think. How much do I know about
you can
eggs?
roll Arcana.
I've been keeping it warm this entire time, but like I knew that like keeping it.
23.
23. So you have never encountered a wyvern, and you know that it's kind of like they're not native to the areas you've been from. You know that in the Beastlands there have been tales of great wyverns that would like terrorize countrysides. But you're much more familiar with like dragon stuff, like anatomy, because that dragons there are true dragons native to Dren.
Okay.
So you know, like, basic care for, like, a dragon egg, and you might be able to assume from there.
What is the basic care that I would know?
You would know that they need, depending on the type and the color, some need extreme heat or extreme cold in order to incubate properly. They all need, like, intensive, like, rotation schedules and are very fussy in order for them to grow, like, to, like, hatch. And they take an immense amount of, like, almost, like, decades to hatch.
Well, Longfin, I think that
Decades.
you want to keep it
Many
warm
Right.
and run a sort of schedule. Perhaps warmer than body temperature. Perhaps you could light some sort of fire and keep it near it or something.
Fire.
Maybe something to incubate.
I'm actually
it.
writing, like, Lonan has, like, a book. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to keep it quite toasty,
Toasty.
but not too warm. You don't want to poach it.
Not too warm. Do not poach. Do not poach.
Well, I'm very busy.
Thank you, Pippin. And I'm going to run upstairs as fast as I can to the next person.
Go just say thank
Uh,
you.
Yeah, I almost said that. Thank you, Lonan.
Who do you want to go
back
to
Erie
next?
now?
Are you currently Erie? What are you up to, Erie?
I don't know.
This is like midway through the trip, probably.
Yeah, random point through the trip.
Yeah,
What are you
random
doing?
point.
I'm gonna say I'm like at the top of one of the sails. At like the eagle's nest.
Yeah.
Just like, you know.
Erie, do you
Just
mind
chilling.
coming down here for a quick moment? I have a question.
I'm gonna like peer my black eyes over the edge and be like, why?
I'm curious, do you know anything about hatching eggs?
No, I
Take
would
it.
assume no. Would I have come across wyverns?
Roll a nature check.
Oh, I have a question about Pippin, too.
17.
17. So you know that there are dragons in the Ondu jungle, but you never have personally experienced them. All you know is that you should keep away and that they're very territorial if they're young.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you know.
Not really. Don't mess with them.
Don't mess with them, like, don't hatch them, you're saying?
Sure, I mean, they're pretty dangerous.
Dangerous. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dangerous.
Uh,
It's like spelled really poorly,
Yeah.
like a crayon. Dangerous.
Gray, very well with all the cooking, by the way. Appreciate it.
What, sorry.
Very well.
Very well with the cooking.
Gray, do you happen to know how to take care of an egg by any chance?
I myself, no, but we did have some chickens on the farm back where I grew up, and they just hatch them and like they would lay them and then just sit on them. It was crazy. I don't know the process. I don't know how it worked, but just pop, another chicken came out.
You sit on it.
Thank you, Gray.
Yep.
I'm just going to cross out everything you just said. I'm going to go to Akano.
Greetings.
Akano, I don't know if you're going to know anything about this, but I feel like if anybody's going to, you might be able to relay some information back to... Shit, that's that guy's name.
Tyrilius?
Tyrilius. Is it possible that you might have any idea on how to hatch said wyvern egg?
I'm not much with animals.
Anybody that you know of?
We Bularans encounter whales and fish
But
and
no
other
dragons.
porpoise from Huezobulera, but Huezobulera does not produce wyverns.
So, and I'm going to try to be like a little bit quieter. Akano, is there a possibility that along the way we could stop at somewhere where I could possibly pick up a few books to keep track of, to keep care of this egg?
You can read?
That's a good question.
You can read?
Yeah.
It depends on if it's in my language of common or not. You know?
Oh, I meant Orin.
Orin, no, I don't know if I can speak. I definitely cannot speak Orin
Oh,
Or read it.
or read it.
then,
But perhaps you could.
well, we are going to Iasroino Hiana an Sai.
Right. And you believe that possibly a book could be there for. I'm trying, like, because I
They
don't want
have
to talk.
things. Naipan aren't big speakers or writers, they communicate differently.
Have you ever seen somebody with a dragon, with an, like, I guess as their pets, I should say?
If anything, the Aarakocra tribes may have knowledge.
I've heard the name from before.
When we get to Iasre no Hiain Ansai,
Oh god.
you laugh every time.
It's because the name is so long and outrageous.
When we get there, possibly traders, other merchants, may have something.
Okay. Well, for
But
the time,
personally, I do not like large animals much.
so for the time being, I guess I will take everyone's advice and go from there. Thank you so much, Akano. If we happen to, or if you know of anybody, or when we arrive at the city, if you can direct me in an area, it'd be nice
Well, we will not be entering the city.
So, what are we doing then?
We are trading.
Oh, so we're not going into the city, they will be boarding the ship.
No, we will be landing on. Islet
On an island.
around the Hive.
Ah, okay. So we're not
Foreigners do not enter the Grand Hive.
okay. So, unfortunately, this is just going to be some sort of trading post more so.
Yes,
Ah, okay.
but
But there might be some people there that could possibly help me, is what you're trying to tell me.
possibly.
Alright, well,
And we have many more stops
we do.
before the Tower of Rest. Yes.
Ah,
This is only the first. We have the full hull to empty and refill.
And is that in another trading post?
Oh, we'll do that all over.
Ah. Well, okay, I guess. How many more breaths until we arrive there?
Then where?
At the next stop.
And this is probably fairly early in the.
Could we say that, like, at this
15
point, like, instead of breaths, we do know, like, because we've kind of figured it out?
Okay, you
Because we've been doing it for...
tell me what you think breaths
I'm
are,
gonna
and
assume-
I will.
I'm going to assume that 2 breaths is, like, a whole day.
Yes. Okay. Then
Okay.
Loden has figured out what breaths are, so I can say.
Sure,
it.
okay.
So
You're right, actually.
there are approximately. Your strange days do not work in my head, but I think there are 10 days left till
That-
we arrive.
10 days. Well, until then, I'll keep the egg warm and not too warm though. And I instead of like saying it all, I basically just like spill like whatever your buddy said.
And he's just smiling and nodding.
And I'm gonna go. Is there a possibility for me to find an area in the ship that I can light a fire that could stay?
Fire
Some
on
sort.
the ship.
I know it sounds like a horrible idea, but it has to happen.
The
From what
only
I've heard.
place for fire would be the stove and kitchen.
In the kitchen. Is there a possibility of me keeping that lit for the next 10 days?
If you are there constantly.
Well, so be it then. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to stay not awake, but I'm gonna try to like. I'm not gonna leave the kitchen at all, and I'm gonna.
How are you gonna, do
Well, I'm
your
gonna go.
business?
I'm not gonna like poop on myself. I'm gonna like go somewhere else real quick and have like Gray watch it because Gray's probably gonna be in the kitchen all the time.
You're not gonna have like a diaper?
I was cooking a roast.
Cooking
A corn roast.
So
It's
at
still
this
a
point,
roast.
it's not in the oven, but it's like next to the oven, like with blankets and stuff on, and I'm sleeping next to the egg, with blankets on and stuff all there. So basically, at any moment, I'm only really gone just to go to the bathroom, and then that's it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna eat in the kitchen, sleep in the kitchen, stay in the kitchen for the next 10 days.
Okay. Sounds
Loden
good.
gains 20 pounds because he just eats.
He just snacks. He's just sitting there all day.
But
so he's
I'll
just
still
like,
sleep regularly because it's not doing anything. It just
Yes.
as long as it stays warm and it doesn't feel too cold.
Yes. Okay. So roll a animal handling check for me with advantage.
I'm gonna take this paper out of
Yeah,
here. so
because
that
you
I
did
have it.
you did
Roll
some
your roll.
thorough research and actually followed some good advice that you
Okay,
got.
so I'm just gonna write dragon on here so I have it. Let's go to my item collection.
So roll an animal handling check with advantage.
8.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. 19.
19. Okay, good. So the egg doesn't seem to have any progress. There's no shaking.
Yeah.
There's no cracks. But when you feel it, it feels like an extra warmth is coming out of the egg.
That's what I was
That
curious.
is like it's like hotter than what the oven would heat it to.
That's what I was curious if it was like
Yeah.
heating itself. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So you guys kind of all fall into these routines, whether it be Pippin doing his experiments, and as you guys walk in, you keep seeing strange, different features on Pippin. Whether it be one day you walk in and he has like longer like hair that is like a thicker, silky texture that is black, or he has his shoulder has enlarged and is like a very like deep green and kind of bulging. Or Zulonin, who is sleeping effortlessly, caring for this egg. Gray, battling and training and staying vigilant on the deck with Econo. And Eerie, doing all of the above and more. Following and changing and kind of getting used to your new abilities that you didn't know you had.
But I also like to feel like as if she's getting a little bit more like confidence.
Oh, I can definitely see that coming through
Yeah.
with all the pranks.
Like kind of like being like, this could be kind of cool.
Yeah?
Like instead of like, this is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And towards the end of the 15 days journey, since the wyvern egg was obtained and the battle ensued and the deck was cleaned, everybody is in assorted places to the deck. Most likely, no one is above. It's not training day. Akana was at the sail. Does anyone want to be above deck for this moment? It would only be really you two. You guys
I
have
won't be
things
now.
that
I
you
won't
said
be
you
there.
were below.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lonen's
sure.
mothering
I would
mine.
assume that I'd spend a lot of time above deck just because I'm used to being like in the open air.
Is this like first breath, second breath, or?
This would be between. Like first breath is like kind of when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as like Akana wakes up, he's like, that was first breath.
Okay.
So it's like between first and second breath. So it's
Okay.
early.
So I'd just be like, I'd probably be up on the deck, a little bit braver, and probably just doing my afternoon stretches.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of like some bending over, getting ready.
Uh-huh. You'll hear Akana. Joyous.
Hey.
Oh, Gray, look,
Mhm.
the distance. And you can see, and you can tell, there have been fairly more, like, small, single floating islands. Some of them you can see have small windmills built into them.
Ooh.
And that has been a more common occurrence through the past couple days of the journey.
There's been islands with windmills on them?
Yeah, windmills, some of them have just simple houses, some are just like a long, big flat plain with trees spreading out. More traditional trees, not anything like you saw in Bulera. But there have been, it's not as much of an empty expanse. There has been small amounts of
Do I
like,
see other
things.
ships like flying
You have
toward it
seen
or
some,
docks?
but but right now you look where
Mhm.
Akana was pointing, and you see a fairly large iceberg-like island with lush greenery on the top of it that kind of like peeks down almost like a large stalagmite. And you can see smaller dots, so you can't quite tell what they are yet, but you're assuming they're probably smaller islands or maybe ships around it.
I'm gonna go tell everybody.
Yeah.
We'll make my way down and just be like, hey everybody, I think we're coming close to the trading post
Yes.
The trading post.
announcement.
I'm gonna like.
We still have a few hours left.
Oh,
Going back up.
that'll give me enough time to kind of like. I'm gonna try to makeshift something with like my backpack where I can have the egg in there. But,
Oh
like,
my god, in the front? Like
No.
a baby?
Yes.
Like
Okay,
a baby Bjorn?
It's gonna
Yeah.
be right in my front, but I still want to like to keep my arrows on me if I can.
I'm
Keep
gonna
it-
have you roll a intelligence check. What tools are you proficient in?
I don't think he has any tool proficiencies.
no.
Proficiencies, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not.
That's gonna be a
okay, then
scramble,
you
like,
Like,
just,
can I ask people to help me and stuff, or is that kind of out of the question? Because I didn't say that.
I'll leave it up to you. Do you think Lonan would ask, or would Lonan try to do it himself?
You could probably just make something quickly with like a towel.
We have a few hours, so it's not like I have a few seconds.
Yeah.
I would say if I fail, then I can try to ask somebody.
Yes.
Maybe if I fail, well, you can determine that. If I fail, that I can ask one person.
I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah.
But so roll an intelligence check then.
So I'm
Just
gonna
pure
try to do this
intelligence.
myself. If I can't, I'm gonna go to Pippin. If Pippin can't help me, then I'll go to Akana.
Okay. Then yep.
Sorry, what was it again?
Intelligence check because you aren't proficient in any tools, so you're just rolling an intelligence check.
16. I guess.
16.
Pretty good.
So you manage. It takes you about an hour to find the necessary things laying around, whether it be your own clothes. You use your quiver as like a strap, but you do manage to make this kind of like sling that lays in front, attached to your quiver, like because your quiver like bands across the front and then it sits on the back, and it attaches here, and it's kind of this like hammock in the front of the waver neck, and it pokes out a little bit.
But it has to be like.
It's like warmth, and you can feel its warmth like on
Yeah,
I actually
and you've
don't-
got like a big belly.
I
now,
actually
so
don't
it's
want it to
keeping
be
it warm.
visible whatsoever because I don't want anybody to try to take
Oh,
it.
you could probably tuck it underneath,
Okay.
and then.
But it's not gonna like if somebody like bumps me, it's not gonna fall out. Right?
So
Does
okay,
Logan look
I
like he
will
has a
remind you of
pregnant
this
Baby
right now.
Yoda,
What
baby
you could do is you
Yoda.
could change your clothes.
What do you mean? Sorry. Oh yeah, because my magic, right?
Yeah.
My magical clothes.
Oh yeah.
So
Just make your magic clothes have a little like pouch.
So I will do that. I will make my magic clothes have a kangaroo pouch.
Okay.
So,
I don't think I'm gonna let that. But you did build something.
Sure.
But then you can change your clothes. Describe how you want it. But you can like make a cloak to cover it, or something like that.
So I'm going to. Oh my god, how do I want to do this?
Because it's a pretty big utility, and so I don't think the cloak can make something like that functioning.
Oh, that's I
out
think
of
that's
it.
fun.
So what do you think of like just like?
But you already made something, so you can make. You just have to make something. You look like you have a little belly.
Okay.
Yeah, make some maternity clothes.
Yeah.
A moo.
I will just make it so like, because right now I have what I had on like for a while, which was when I was inside the. I think when I was trying to do something funky when we were in the cells, right?
Yeah.
So I will change it to be like, what colors were the dragons again?
The dragon. So
the one that had the eggs.
the one that had the egg was like a kind of a lighter pinky color that had like
I'm gonna make
leopard
myself
spots on it.
exactly like that because when the baby comes out, I want it to
What
like,
style is the clothing?
like I want it to be like I want it to look like scales like on the clothing.
So you basically are like cosplaying as a wyvern right now.
Yeah.
I'm imagining.
Does it have a hood that has like a little dragon?
What I'm
It's got the
imagining
beak.
is a cloak that has a hood that has a little point on the top, very Assassin's
Don't you
Creed
have
like.
dragon teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you stick them to the?
I guess I could-
where
oh,
you're-
Yeah. And it's like a caftan that
Alright.
comes all the way down to
But-
poncho-like arms.
but at-
that if you go up, they're kind of like wings.
But for the actual, but as for like the actual like coat part covering, I just want to have like a think of it like a robe kind of like.
You could
tie.
even do a similar style to what Akano and his children wear, and what you saw the Simmates wear, and they kind of wear this big baggy layers of loopy clothing.
That's good because then at that point they can't really tell that I have an egg. I guess.
Yeah,
'cause it's too big.
you kind of just look like you have a little
Sure.
bit of like dad bod
Little dad bod.
going
Okay.
on. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there
Someone
you go.
needs to draw this. Please.
So I look like I'm a crazy person.
you're like cosplaying a pterodactyl.
And I'm going to. I'm not going to do this, but like I would just explain to everybody like in the party that I'm going to go to each person and be like, I'll tell them my plans of getting a book as soon as they go, or try to like know stuff.
We're all.
You get
Hmm.
okay.
What if somebody bumps
Well,
into
because
you?
otherwise I was
We're
like,
like,
Logan runs
he's
up well.
lost it.
We've all been on this ship so long. All of us have gone crazy a little bit in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Eerie
sorry.
turns into-
Great. You came down the stairs.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Wait.
No, you went back.
I went back up.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I was
told
already
you.
done.
Oh.
And then went back up.
Yeah.
Is there something that you guys want to do? You went back upstairs.
Yeah.
You did this. What would Pippin and
I
you
was
like to do?
upstairs already.
I'm gonna.
You're kind of watching as well.
watching around, yeah.
I'm gonna put away all of my equipment, but I'm gonna kind of leave. Like when I put on my gauntlet item, I'm gonna kind of have like. There's still gonna be like an IV that hooks into my arm from my gauntlet,
Okay.
but I'm gonna put all my stuff away. What do I look like today?
So you look fairly normal today, but you're kind of walking with a little bit of a hobble. And right on your head, there is like a big, like, almost like wine spill birthmark of like a really like the deep green. that
So I have
your
a
skin is
green
in.
birthmark on my face.
And you've been hobbling a little bit, and you know it's because your leg is is quite a bit longer than your other one right
One
now.
of my legs is longer than the other.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna like hobble out with all my equipment and my bag and put it all back in my bag of holding, and kind of like shuffle up the stairs. Hi everybody.
And you guys see this hobbling wine spill green Pippin.
And I don't smell very good. Like, I haven't showered in 10
Yeah, you
days.
guys come up to wash. Pippin doesn't.
I did not go shower.
Yeah, and I've been showering like with the egg like holding onto it, and it's just like scrubbing the egg too, so like it stays nice and clean. Well,
But-
nice to see you again, Pippin.
Yeah, I smell like BO and like saltpeter and like different chemicals.
Quite
Yeah.
sulfurous.
Sulfur, yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, why do you ask?
Does he still have the teeth? Question mark.
Just
No.
proportions look.
No.
They're all gone.
But I have a green mark on my face, and one of my legs is longer than the other one.
I don't think you understand how serious what you were doing that was.
What are you talking about?
Well, I walk in one day, you have long teeth. Now you have green marks everywhere and a longer leg than the other. It doesn't seem
Oh, you noticed.
like you know exactly what, you know. I mean, I'm not saying you don't know what you're doing, but I'm saying you might need to be a little more careful.
I'm running some tests. Everything should be okay. Erie,
Yeah?
do you think I could perhaps get another sample of your blood?
What do you mean another sample?
Oh, whilst you were in your coma, I took some of your blood, purely for alchemical reasons. Just as-
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Why do you want my blood?
I'm running some tests.
What
Are
kind
you-
of tests?
I think it'll help with my research.
Are you
What
drinking?
kind of tests are you running? What is
No,
your
I'm
research?
injecting it into my tissues.
Why?
I'm attempting to sort of mimic your transformative abilities to a particular means.
Erie feeling kind of like unique for the first time in her life. Like she could do something that nobody else can do.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like
No, I'm not trying to
I don't
steal.
know.
I'm not trying to be able to change like you. I'm curious in your replicating abilities, and I want to see. I think they might be an interesting, useful ingredient in my work. You see, when
I'll
we
have
were.
to think about it,
You see, when we were in.
and then I'm going to like just kind of like back away.
Yeah.
Would
His
I know of
explanations.
any experiments or tests like this?
And I'm gonna scratch my green spot on my face.
History check.
And I'm just shaking my head like, how could he do this?
I'm very curious, Lauren. This is good. You know, when we were in the city, I was so devastated we couldn't get to the Ochre Academy, and I feel like the key that I needed for my research was inside Erie all along. I didn't even need the Ochre Academy.
But Pippin, what you're not understanding is that what you're doing can cost you your life potentially. What if this experiment goes wrong, for example, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're not there to be able to help you. We don't know anything about what you're doing. It's not like me attempting to do I mean, not to say I want to be your experiment, but if you were to experiment on me, then you would at least be there to know what could happen. Do you understand?
Sure. Yes, I'm quite aware.
Well, we don't
He's
know.
in his own body to know and experience what's happening.
But if something goes wrong, how are we there to help him though, Erie?
Like, what if
Would
he
we-
went
what-
to the size of an like?
What
something
would we
very
do?
small?
Do you know anything about alchemy, Erie?
No, but I mean, I don't think that him experimenting on someone else is any safer.
I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying hypothetically, it's
Are you willing? I could use a test subject.
not right now until this egg is born. Until this egg hatches, I'm 100%.
How long does that take?
Oh yeah, and Lonan's in his like absurd outfit right
Yeah.
now.
That's not true.
But you see,
Is this gonna be the new you?
You see, Lonan,
I
basically.
really didn't get my onesie on.
Little break.
Yeah.
Lonan, you see, I don't have. I guess I'm using my own body as a guinea pig right now.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, if you do this and something bad happens, we are not there to. What do we
Oh,
do?
you should be surprised. It was already quite difficult. I basically had to regrow a portion of my liver over the past 10 days.
I'm curious then, can you actually make a potion to reverse whatever you're doing? So if anything does happen, we can be there to help you.
Probably, or maybe not. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. This is the first time I'm doing this. I've never had such raw, liminal material as Erie's own tissues. I'm curious, what sort of organ anatomy do you have?
1 second. Gray. He rolled something and I'm trying to tell him his results. So what did you roll? 17, you said?
Yeah.
So in your experience in the military,
Sorry.
gives other people their time.
Yeah.
In your experience in the military, you have not seen anything necessarily what Pippin is doing, but you have worked with some alchemists in the past, and have seen
records. of past experiments?
No, but you have
Okay.
seen like biological like augmentations in people, but not to like you. More like trying to make them beefier, like you know, like Captain America-esque, like trying to make them
okay.
super soldiers. That's what kind of experiments you're used to seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But if I do fall unconscious or start to experience some sort of unforeseen side effects, just let me know, and hopefully we can deal with that. My work's very important, Lonan. I've assessed the risks, and I think that it would be worth it to
Well.
make them.
Just hope that nothing bad happens is all.
I'm hoping good things happen. You know, I have big plans.
I need you around in case this woman is born.
Oh, is that why you're dressed like that?
Yes, it seems as if I kind of just started thinking that making myself look like the mother might make you believe I'm the mother.
Sure. Sorry, Gray. What was over there? This is the island?
That is the island right there.
And looking up, it's been probably about an hour now since the original sighting of it, and you can see it with a lot more definition. Not the island itself is just kind of getting larger and larger and larger, almost the size of like a mountain back on the material plane at this point. It is very large, but the kind of almost like satellites around it are coming more into focus, and you can see there's much smaller islands, probably the size of. It's like a classic like deserted island vibe.
Oh.
There's probably about like maybe like 2-3 about that size. Like classic like just a regular small island like inlet off of the side. The Isle Ivern probably about like cut those in half, and that's
Okay.
about the size that it is. And you guys can see things moving around in the air, moving from between the small satellites floating around the Grand Hive and flying towards it itself. But they're kind of like, you can see the shapes moving and you can see the darkness against the sky, but you can't quite tell what they are yet. Yeah.
Is this the Hive City?
Well, I don't know if the small cities are the trade posts and the big ones the Hive, or that must be it, right?
I don't know anything about a trade post.
Econo
It's so bright up
Hi!
here.
Hello guys!
is
Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Yes, Ray.
Is
Reno.
is the big
Yeah,
mountainy
no,
thing
inside.
the Hive?
Oh, you want explanation?
Yes.
Ah,
Exposition.
the center large, that is the Grand Hive. Yes, Reno, here I am on side. And you can see around the inlets, the islets, there are 6. There's yes, Ray, no, na, on, and sai. And they're terminals. Terminals. Do you know that word? Terminals.
I'm going to
For-
be like,
for
but
tr-
I don't really know what he's talking
Terminal.
about.
They're for
Terminal.
trade posts. I've been many times, but not often are foreigners allowed inside the hive.
So
Not
do we-
its main body.
Do we just stay here then?
Yeah, we
Oh,
go to
no.
the terminal.
Exactly. Great. Smart one here. Smart one.
So we go.
We are going to dock. I believe the way it looks like, and he's going to like hold his fingers up and kind of like count some things. I believe we are going to be going to ES terminal.
Yes.
Yes, but I cannot confirm necessarily. But that's where we'll be staying for a couple days while I trade. I will be dropping you off there, and we'll go to other terminals to encounter other merchants.
Are you
What do
going to
we-
leave us at a terminal?
Only for a day.
You won't leave us on this island.
Oh,
right?
no. Terilius would be upset.
I don't know this, but is our currency of value?
Currency.
What
What
do we
is-
what do we trade?
It represents value, and I'll take out a gold coin.
Ah, that's gold. But why is it in this shape?
We trade things for it.
Trade for gold, but that doesn't explain the shape. Gold's come in. Gold mines
Sure.
comes in nuggets.
How do you trade goods? By what means do you trade
Oh well,
value?
if I would want this gold for purpose, jewelry, I would give you blubber.
So you just trade what you think is worth it.
Well, we speak, and things, it depends on their need and mine. But yes.
How does one know if they're getting a good trade?
Well, it's always a good trade if they get what they want and I get what I want.
Yeah, it appears they have some sort of bartering system.
Barter.
Is it possible
yes.
that you can maybe come with us for a little bit while we try to trade some things, just to make sure that we're getting what we
You
deserve?
will try to trade? What
We-
do you have?
We might need some new equipment or gear.
Be nice to see what's there to offer at this.
What do you have of use?
Lots of things.
Knowledge, perhaps?
Potions.
Oh. I did not explain Naipan enough. I can't speak to most.
Naipan, are those the people who live in the hive?
Yes.
You mentioned that they all speak Orin? Does anybody speak those
Some
tongues?
speak Orin, but most Naipan don't speak.
They don't speak.
They just don't speak.
No, it's very quiet.
This seems...
We'll
They-
have to see.
Yeah, let's just wait
I
and see.
can't describe, but some do.
Well, we'll see when we get there.
Yes.
Is it
And we'll
possible...
be safe on this island.
That's what I was
Oh,
gonna ask you.
yes. Terminal is nice. If we dock at Ias, there is an way stop for rest there.
Like an inn.
I don't know that word.
Do they serve you drinks and have beds and stuff?
Drinks. Yes. Well known for their concoctions.
I could use an inn. We haven't been in an inn in so
Yeah.
long, guys.
Much better than what we have. Sorry. Yes, I agree.
The
Yeah.
concoction
I didn't
sounds
want to
nice.
I didn't want to piss off Akano.
Yeah. Not that this ship hasn't been great, but I haven't been in an inn. We haven't been in an inn in like a month.
We haven't been on like ground.
You could
in a while.
definitely use clean bath.
Yeah.
Have rain not been
Me?
enough? Oh, yes. You stink.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be like, I guess I do. I hadn't
Yeah.
even considered.
You also have something on your face.
Yes, I know. It is a piece of tissue I'm trying to grow. I'm trying
I
to
don't-
create something.
Okay.
Perhaps I could run some tests on you and your children.
And the drinking.
And I'll look
Funny,
like
funny.
completely straight-faced.
Funny. Well, should be there before second breath.
Good.
I'll relax, and I will tell you when we dock.
Thank you, Akana.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Don't be alarmed by flying pots.
What?
Yes.
And then he walks off.
yeah. And then he walks away back, and he goes below deck.
Alright.
Cool.
Flying pots.
Okay.
Okay. And with that, as you guys fly closer and closer to Yes Reino Hiaina Ansai,
The hive.
Oh, yeah.
that is where we will take our break for the night. So thank you all for coming in and watching the session 21. It's the third week if we streamed every day.
Yep.
Third week, 21 sessions. That's awesome. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And don't forget to stick around.
See you in 10 minutes, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Hello, everybody.
Stick around.
Hello.
Welcome back
Hopefully you
to
fuck around.
session 21 of All Fun and Dice. So last we left off, our group of adventurers were just about to reach the Grand Hive, Yes Reino Hiai Naan Sai. Were you going to ask how to spell
Yes.
it? Is that what you
No,
want to
no,
know?
it's fine.
Okay. So, you guys see the terminals floating around it, the small inlets around the grand mountain of the hive, but it doesn't look like a traditional hive that you would see. It's kind of just a large stony face with the forest dotting the top. So as you guys approach, you can see that the shapes that you saw darting back and forth between the islets and the main hive appear to be small, kind of circular or orb-like shapes that have buzzing wings attached to them that are flying back and forth, but they're quite large.
Yeah.
It's hard to estimate based on because you don't know really what the size of the islet is or the size of the mountain. But you estimate at this point you have probably about an hour until you guys are going to be docking.
So they're like giant spheres with buzzing wings.
They almost
on
look like flies, like like the really tiny, like
them. A gnat.
like a gnat. That's good. That's a good description.
But we're still pretty far.
Yep, you're still about an hour away.
Well, I have all my stuff packed up, guys. You all ready to go?
Yeah, so let's go out and see how to trade, I guess.
Here,
I'm ready.
here, Gray. Take a flying potion just in case you get scared.
Thank you.
And I'll keep the rest of my potions just in case. But I know you get worried.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Great. Everybody good to go? All right.
Hi.
Akano, I have
Yeah,
a
so
question.
he's like, you guys are like on the main area of the deck, and he's up in the elevated parts at the
I
at the
don't
wheel.
know if I'm going to be able to find everything or try to bother at all. But if you come across anybody that has either, hatched an egg, knows a book about wyverns or anything, I would appreciate it. And also, of course, if you see anything that of arrows, I guess I don't know if you've seen my arrows. If you see anything, anybody that would be
If I see hunters, I will ask.
for sure, that would be very
Yes.
nice of you.
Yes.
I of course I'm going to try myself, but you seem like you're a very skilled trader.
Yes.
If you ask me.
I am.
Yeah,
I
so
am merchant.
is there
That's my
anything
specialty.
that you know that I have on or that you've seen or gold, for example, that I could give you to potentially trade for me, and I will still attempt to trade for myself as well?
You don't have anything I want,
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
but
and I'm going to show him everything that's in my bag. Well, I don't know what's in there that he would want, but
well, what do you have in your bag?
bunch of random stuff, I guess. Arrows. I have like a lot of stuff actually. I guess. Let me see.
Well,
I guess like if you want to just guess, but I mean like.
gather up things you think are good,
A value.
but I have my leathers and my blubbers to trade in my meats.
Okay.
I
I have, and I'm gonna show him bread. I have 5 things of bread. I don't know why we have bread, but I have 5 things of bread.
It's like hard, like a
It's
hard.
gonna be as crap. Like it's gonna.
It's
be,
like completely
Why?
blue.
It's actually a club now.
this
Yeah.
is bread actually.
I know of bread.
Has it been a while since you guys have had bread?
I don't make bread, but I've eaten it at other settlements. Bread. Do you have a crate of this?
I only have, and I'm gonna show him like the 5 loaves that I have.
Lonan, leave the poor man alone. He's got to dock a ship.
So
Yes, I must go consult Hoyla about inventory and stock.
Okay then.
Goodbye. And he'll go below deck. Ching, ching.
You sure like to talk to that man. He can barely even understand us.
I'm just trying to get some help, but it seems as if we're on our own at this point.
Yeah, it's difficult. We're in a strange land.
Just when you think that you know exactly what he's saying, you have no idea.
I guess that's the way with
I don't know.
Akano.
True.
Alright, well,
Shall we attempt?
I guess we'll stand here and watch the island as it approaches.
Yeah.
Just like T-pose, like idle animation.
Yeah.
Just,
Idle animation.
what's your like idle like?
Yeah, we're gonna wait for
Ear
the
has an
island to
change,
finish.
just like swipes every so
We're
often.
gonna wait for the island to finish rendering in front of us.
Yeah, all of a sudden, just this huge shape all over. And
No,
yeah, wow.
We clipped through it.
And then a cutscene starts.
Yeah, and it's loaded. And it's like a pre-rendered cutscene. It's just loaded, walks in, and it's like pterodactyl costume. But in reality, you guys approach the island, and you can see that these strange winged orbs. They almost look like the bulbs in flowers of plants. Almost like a tulip bulb. One looks like the closed bud of a flower. all zipping around about the same speed as the ship you guys are in.
So they're like slow, like.
Yes. The wings are moving quite fast.
Do they have bug wings?
It looks like it, but they're moving very quickly, so you can't quite tell.
How big are these things?
They're about half the size of the ship that you guys are on, so for scale.
Huh.
Giant flying spheres.
Weird.
Interesting.
And as you guys approach, Akana will go back up to the wheel and direct the gift of variety towards one of these islets. And you can see as you get closer that the islet is just a fairly like flat disc with stalagmites like dropping down from underneath. It doesn't look like it's a very thick island, but the top is covered in this large waxy yellow hive-like feature that is like looks like it's built on the top.
Like a beehive?
Yes, more like a hornet's nest, like that kind of like papery.
Yeah.
Like that papery thin, like kind of orb.
Interesting. I'm wondering what these Naipean look like.
Yes, as am I.
I'm wondering if that's them, those giant flying balls.
And you can actually see. Roll perception for me, Pippin.
I didn't even consider that.
Not even close. I rolled a. Actually, no, I rolled pretty good. 8. I rolled a 4 though.
So you, after you make that, you can't. You just see the ones flying. You don't see anything else. But Akano takes them in, takes you guys in, and one of his kids, and you guys have gotten a little bit better at telling the twins apart. And you can tell that this is Nanimal. Throws an anchor, like grappling hook type anchor, and throws it across and latches onto the stone of the island as it digs in, and the ship comes to a stop and kind of halts. And you guys didn't realize that the ship hasn't been like out of motion for a very long time, and you guys stop, and all of a sudden it's weird. You guys are like having a hard time walking for a second because you guys are taking a step, expecting the adjustment of like the bob of the air, but it's kind of just still again.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are there other ships like ours, or other
You-
ships that aren't like?
Whoever is interested can roll a perception check.
18.
11.
Nat 20.
Okay.
20, not nat 20.
Good job.
12.
12. Okay. All of you notice that there seems to be, especially you, Lauren, you make the connection first, that you can see some of the strange kind of like bulby orbs that look like they're in flight going between the hive and the islets, kind of sitting on the ground around it, like in the dock area of this island. But you don't see any other ships of any other type, any of you. Yeah.
Okay.
But other than these pods, and you make the connection that these strange kind of like planty looking pods are in fact whatever is flying in the air as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Ah, we have docked. Are you staying on the ship?
No, we'll be heading off, I suppose.
Oh,
Is there a dock?
this is the dock. The
Okay,
island is the dock.
interesting.
This is Ias.
This is Ias.
I believe so. It is the flattest of the 6. I
Okay.
think. Well,
So we just walk off into there.
where's there?
Like, is the ship connected to a dock?
No, they're like roped onto just the ground.
Should we
Like
just...
they're
Oh.
like grappling hooked, and you can see Loki and Nanimal like hammering in pegs and kind of setting up like a little bridge across, like one of the rope bridges that they would connect, and the Bularans would connect to each other's ships.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. Come on, Tenaculum.
Do you know where you are going?
No
idea.
in the
Not a
slightest.
clue.
Well,
Perhaps we should follow you first then.
yes. Naipan can be quite strange to deal with. Come with me.
We don't want to become food or anything.
Yes, follow.
All right, we'll follow you.
Okay. So we'll walk in, and the island is like it's big enough. You could probably walk across the island in like a half hour. And the hive-like structure is based in the center of it. So it's probably only like a 10-minute walk to get to the edge of this large hive.
10 minutes?
Yep.
Okay.
What?
What?
That's far.
Yeah, it's like you're just walking. It's like a small islet, but it's not like tiny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a,
Oh
like
no,
a
I
big
thought you meant
flat.
10 minutes on the rope.
No. It's like seconds to
I
cross
was
the
like, how
road.
far are
It's 10
we?
minutes to walk from the edge of the island to the center where the hive is.
I was like, guys, my arms are getting tired.
So, and as you guys are approaching, you see one more perception check from everybody.
18.
Well, actually, 22.
8.
4.
Okay.
You guys
So,
got-
Lonan and Pippin, you guys see these small, kind of shiny looking creatures moving along the ground. They're probably only about 2 foot tall at the smallest, all the way up to about 3.5 feet, maybe 4 at the very tallest of them. And they appear almost insect-like, covered in a thick, beetle-like carapace of varying colors, some of them dark with ornaments on their heads looking like horns. Others have more decorative shells of iridescent colors, some with red with spots, and just a whole assorted amount. And you can see that they are walking, carrying assorted bags. Some are pulling sleds that have goods on their backs. And these are the only, and you two are the ones who see these kind of creatures moving around in the low kind of like brush-like vegetation that is
we're,
around this
we're
hive.
still on top of the hive, right? We're not inside it.
You are not walking into a hive. You are walking along the island's ground towards the hive, and
Towards
you're
the
seeing
hive.
these creatures walking towards the hive.
Okay,
as
thank
well.
you. Now I understand.
Yeah.
Are those them? Are those the Naipan?
That's what it seems.
Where?
Perhaps just a group of giant family. I don't know.
What? Okay.
What are you guys talking
It
about?
could be a giant family of.
Nakano's probably like a little bit ahead of you guys.
Gray, why don't you try talking to one of them? You're the best at talking.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Kind of.
What little things?
And then I'll point to the one.
And when he points, you can see slightly to your right is about a 2.5 foot tall, almost ladybug-like creature that has its it has a shell and its head is poking up at the top. It's a little hunched, and it has little bags in its hands. But when you look at it, you actually notice that it has 4 hands as well as its feet, and it's holding 4 different bags.
Oh, cool.
But the 2 that are closest to its core are like smaller bags and smaller arms.
Can I just like
That's
kind of
walking.
speed up to Arcano and ask him like,
Oh,
what are those?
excuse me?
Hi. Who are they?
These gentlemen? Naipan!
Ah, they are. The
Yes.
I see.
Insect people. They're
that
known.
explains the hive.
Yes. Yes, Reino Hiai na Ansai
Yes.
have beetles, I believe, are
Okay.
what you would call them. Tyrelius has shown
That
me
makes so
books
much
with
sense.
diagrams, and they are similar. But yes, these are the people here.
Makes sense.
All right.
So that's why they can't communicate.
Ah.
Well,
What
keep,
do you mean?
keep show us what it's like. Bring us to
Yes.
the hive.
Yes, come. We're almost there. And as you're approaching, it's something that you couldn't see because of the low, the growth of shrubs and low trees. But as you approach, you can see a small archways dotted around the sides of the hive, and you can see a small queue of these Naipan lined up. Not very long, probably only 3 or 4 insects before they get inside. Insect people, sorry, before they go inside, going in and out of the hive.
Cool.
Huh.
Great. Try talking to them. See what happens.
What sound does an insect make?
I don't know. Go like-
I'm not gonna try that.
You're not gonna try?
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of observe and try to see how Akano is gonna actually try to do this.
Are they close to me by any chance?
There's some around you. You guys are waiting kind of in a line right now.
Are they like behind me, like or beside me, waiting to get on?
There are Akano's in the front of you guys. You guys are kind of clustered behind them, and there's like a couple of
Behind us?
behind you. Yeah,
I'm gonna turn around and be like, hello.
and one will look up at you with its large, complex eyes of the compact, strange fly-like eyes almost, and look up at you, and its antenna will twitch and point as it looks at you, and you kind of feel a sense of curiosity into feeling right in your chest, and you feel curious. But upon feeling it, that's not you feeling curious. You're feeling something else's curiosity.
Ooh.
So it's curious, kind of.
It pointed its antennas at you, and you felt its curiosity.
That's cool. I
Some
don't.
mixed signals.
I don't know if That was from you. Or
How are
not?
you feeling?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
I guess confused a little bit.
Confused. And then you'll feel confused in your chest. That same feeling. The curiosity changes to confusion as well.
Can you hear me? And I'm gonna talk without talking. I'm gonna talk back in my chest, kind of thing.
So you're gonna try to
Internally talk like you know what I mean, like in my mind, I guess. Sort of.
So the confusion will
Okay,
last.
it's called thinking.
I'll think in my chest.
I'm gonna talk in my chest internally in my mind.
So the confusion will last a little while longer before you see the antenna kind of twitch away, and it'll kind of like bump into you a little bit, and you notice that everybody else took a few steps forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we gonna go on like this thing together, like this like moving?
It's not moving. You guys are like standing in a line waiting to go into a door.
Is there a bunch of bugs in line with us?
Yeah, there's only a few. Yeah, it's not a long line.
Are they dropping dung like at the front of us?
Yeah, is
No.
there one pushing a huge thing of poop?
No, no, not.
Are they clean? Like
Negative inspiration for the racism.
bug? Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just wait in this queue, I guess.
So quickly it goes by, only about a few minutes before you guys get to the front, and two larger rhinoceros-like beetles with large protrusions coming out of the top of its head, almost like the horns of a rhinoceros beetle. It's holding some sort of spear in its hand, and it'll look and twitch its antenna at Akano, and Akano will kind of just stand there before it'll like nod its head, and Akano will walk through. Come.
Okay, I'll walk through.
How do you do that?
Yeah. And you guys don't get stopped. You guys are just allowed through.
Cool.
What's it look like
Okay.
inside?
And as you guys are walking in, you notice it kind of gets dark for a little bit as the waxy nature of the hallways kind of starts to darken. You can tell it's getting thicker and thicker as you walk in. But eventually, after probably only about a minute or two of walking, you can see a light at the end of this strange tunnel. And you walk in, and the roof kind of just quickly goes straight up into this large dome. And you can tell that you can see all the way up to the top of this hive. And looking in, you're at a slight incline, and there's some stairs, some strange, almost like hexagonal stairs leading down, almost like honeycomb hives.
Ooh, cool.
And you're looking down
Crazy.
into this weird, pseudo-natural looking small town filled with small pod-like houses, a lot of interesting geometry mixed with smooth lines. And you can see Naipan and large buildings just all scattered out throughout. So it looks like a small town tucked inside of this hive.
Nice.
Cool.
Crazy.
Okay, so I'll limp along with the party, and I'll approach the nearest Naipan to me,
Okay.
and I'll say, "Hello, Naipan."
And the small green, it's probably only about 2 feet tall, green beetle with stripes running down its back will turn to you. And it doesn't have anything in its hands, but it'll look up at you and its antennas will twitch again, and its small yellow eyes will look at you. And you'll feel confusion. Deep in your chest, right here.
How is the morning?
And how is Pippin feeling?
He's curious.
Curious. And then you kind of feel the confusion warp and change into a little bit of curiosity as well, as the little beetle will kind of scurry forward and click its mandibles and kind of touch your arm.
Okay, I will.
And its weird cold finger will touch onto you, and you feel a little ugh.
Okay, I'll touch its arm.
Yeah. And in your chest, the curiosity will change into a little bit of joy. It'll straighten its back a little bit, as much as it can with its 6 carapace, and kind of
Okay.
just shuffle.
I didn't learn much. It appears they have some sort of psychic communication,
It seems as if they can tell our emotions,
and they can send their emotions into you.
but no, they can't talk to us. It seems like they can send our emotions, their emotions. Sorry. So
Gray, you're good at talking. Why don't you try?
how are we going? How are we going to communicate with them if they're only able to tell our emotions?
Well,
How do they
maybe.
get
Yeah,
like-
how would I ask for the bathroom?
Why don't you try?
Okay, I'll look for the nearest Naipan.
Naipan. So you see a slightly larger one. This one's probably only a couple feet shorter than you. You're guessing it looks pretty bulky with a nice, thick, sturdy frame and then it's a simple brown carapace all the way down, but it has like a segmented thing. Almost looks like it can curl up into a sort of bowl.
Okay.
And it'll look at you and it has like short little stubby antenna, but it also has some sticking out of the bottom of its face, and it'll look at you. And it'll kind of feel like annoyance as it looks at you.
And I'm thinking about like, I'm trying to think of like an emotion for a bathroom. Relief.
You're relieved.
I'm
And so you're like intensely feeling relief.
Yeah.
And it'll kind of like, its antenna will kind of twitch for a second, and then you'll get confusion.
And then I'm gonna get confused.
And then it'll be confused, and then it'll be mad. It'll kind of just turn away and walk away.
Is it like incredibly quiet
I
in
don't
here?
understand.
There is a soft sound of like fluttering insect wings, and the sound of your steps, but otherwise there isn't like a chatter going on that you would be used to in most towns. There's no one calling out to one another. There's
Are other Naipan, do they look like they're having conversations with each other?
You can see them walking up to one another, and you can see them kind of gesturing with their hands, and you can see exchanges of goods going on. You can see the twitching of antenna and the flapping of wings, and the carapace opening up to reveal wings. But you don't hear anything when that's happening. You hear the clicking of a mandible every so often, and like the step of their cold
bug feet.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something to do with the antenna?
I think they like project their feelings into your mind. I'm not sure.
But maybe when they like move them, that means something.
I don't know.
Where's he
Akano,
Oh,
where's this inn?
oh, we're close.
Okay, good.
I call it the dewdrop.
The dewdrop.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't think it has a name.
Akana, how do we speak to the Naipayan?
Yeah, how does this work?
How did you
Oh.
speak to them?
Oh, I just
Do you
the ones by the door speak. They're known as advisors.
So you can speak to them, but what about regular Naipayan though?
How do you talk?
I
with them?
didn't hear you
Oh.
say a word.
I don't speak with regular Naipan, only advisors.
The regular ones can't talk.
Well, they can speak, I believe. At least I've heard some in the past.
Okay, so
But
Do they do that thing where they put those feelings in your head?
no, the advisors put words in head.
But these ones can't.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so
I should explain Naipans more?
Yes.
Yes. Naipans are one, but many jobs. Some fight, some rear babies, some talk, while others build. Many jobs, one community.
Do they have like a hive mind?
right, and so then
Hive minds.
Is it like one brain with many bodies?
I think these are the workers, and then the ones that provide communication are like the leaders.
Yeah,
so
they're
to
like
speak.
specialized.
Right. So yeah,
No misunderstanding.
Oh.
All subjects under Queen. Fizoips is Queen
There's
here.
a queen. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
These are subjects
So
under
there's
her.
a queen, much like the bees, I suppose.
Yes,
Much like bees.
but I have not personally seen bees, so I cannot say for sure.
All right. Well, take us to the dewdrop. Maybe.
Yes, it's
we can
only a
get some
few more
information
steps.
there.
But yes, I believe some Naipan do speak.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are there many advisors?
I don't know numbers. I just know that the advisors find me when I come. But sadly, I did not see any other ships in dock, so I don't believe you will have company in the inn. But let's go onward.
All right.
And after a few more steps, you kind of come to this kind of classic beehive, like the stacked rings, like the very classic on the kind of on a cereal box kind of shape. This is in, as you
Alright.
would say.
All right, so we
Do
walk in.
Yes. And as you go inside, you actually like met with a very familiar setup of hexagonal tables, little hexagonal chairs in a bar. And behind the bar, there's not a beetle-like Naipan, but a tall bee-like waspy figure with a classic black and white stripes, wiping down the table with a cloth.
Yes.
I guess all the inns are the same, no matter what universe you're
Yeah.
in.
No matter what plane you're in.
Yeah. Are you gonna go do your trading and leave us here?
I will find advisor and get back to you with traits.
Thank you.
Yes. Enjoy. I believe emotions are how you order drinks.
Okay.
Goodbye. And Akana will kind of walk back out the door.
Well, let's get a table.
Should we try this? Alright.
Let's get a table, I guess.
Do we announce ourselves?
I don't know. I'm just gonna sit down at a table.
Just.
And it's kind of a plush, almost feels like a jelly-like seat.
Would it be weird if we walked around a little bit and did not stay at the tavern?
Well, that's where he's waiting for us. Honestly, it's been so long I haven't been in an inn. I'd like to relax, but you can do whatever you want.
I
Luna.
would love to try some interesting food.
No, I
and
guess we
maybe
can
walk
stay
around.
here. I guess we can stay here. Might as well get ourselves a nice drink or whatever they're serving here.
Maybe it's nectar.
Why don't you go order us something?
I will do so then.
I don't really want to walk around. It's kind of hard with my one leg being longer than the other
I'm just
right
gonna.
And it's actually been like shortening over
Erie,
the
come
course
with me
of
and
the time.
let's go
Okay.
order a drink together. And I'm gonna gesture to Erie to come. So we're gonna.
What does Erie do?
She follows. She follows him.
Okay. So as you guys walk up, the bee that was kind of like very like set on watching, and then something you didn't see on the beetles going around. You actually see that like the bee is wearing some sort of like similar clothing to what Ikano wears and the other Simmates and the Belorans that you saw. It's kind of this drapey clothing, but the wings are like set outside of it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good day, sir. I don't know if you can understand me right now, but we would like some drinks if possible.
So he'll, the bee creature, the bee humanoid, will look at you, antennas pointed, and it'll feel kind of like, you'll feel in your chest, like a demand, like almost like demanding.
Demand.
That's the emotion. You kind of feel like a
Can
pressure.
I try to feel the emotion of like calm?
Calm? Okay. So it'll look at you, Lonan, first, the switch its head to you, and you'll feel this kind of weight that you felt for the first time of like demand and like expectation on you. And you'll feel, and you're kind of jarred back for a second before you kind of like breathe out and feel this calmness. And the bee will turn and like start grabbing like cups and pouring stuff into a cup and hand you a drink. And it is almost like, it almost looks like it's glowing. And it's served in like a classic kind of martini glass. With
They
a
have
little
martini
and a little like dollop of honey dripping down from the rim.
Ooh.
It's a honey thing? That's
yeah,
so cool.
but it almost seems to be glowing.
I'm
Avery,
gonna taste it.
Okay. And as you taste it, it tastes incredibly sweet, but it also tastes very floral. It reminds you of springtime back home in the jungle and all the different like scents that come out in that time of year. So I'm gonna have. So
Oh no.
what is your constitution? You're not dying. I will let you know you're not dying.
Where am I looking? Where?
Constitution?
Yeah, your constitution score.
0. Oh, that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
11.
No.
0.
Yeah, 0. Okay.
Uh,
So you kind of feel the drink hit you quite a bit, and even after just the one sip, you're like, "Whoa!" It's quite potent. And you look down at your hands, and you can see almost like you can see all the veins in your hands. And Lonan, you also notice that like Yuri appears to be glowing,
Whoa.
and not just like a healthy like vibrant glow, like a literal like bright
Glow.
light
Yeah.
is like emanating from beneath
How
your
did you-
skin.
radioactive
Avery,
blood.
how did you?
Yeah, like similar.
How did you manage to talk to it? What did you do?
I just tried to think of the kind of drink that I wanted. I wanted a drink that would be kind of soothing, and so I just tried to feel calm.
So I'm gonna try to feel calm as well too, but I will try to. But I'm.
You
Yeah.
also want to soothing drink?
I don't know what kind of drink I really want. I don't know what kind of drink I actually want. I want to feel warm inside so I can keep the egg warm. And I'm going to say that to myself out loud, and I'm going to go. So I'm going to think of.
Maybe think of like anger, like a hot.
It's up to you. The bee's kind of just looking at you.
Is Reno
I
speaking
will-
And you'll
to
feel,
us?
and you can feel the demand kind of swelling in your
I'm gonna
chest.
feel like I'm gonna try to feel warmth.
Warm?
So a feeling.
Well, yeah, I need like an
You need
emotion.
an
Fine,
emotion.
anger then.
Anger. So you kind of feel angry, and you see like his brow furrow slightly,
Yeah.
and the bee will look at you and kind of nod, and it'll turn around and get this big kind of like clear stein and start pouring these vibrant colored liquids in it, and eventually like this smoke will almost kind of appear out of it, and it turns a bright shade of red when he puts it down in front of you.
I'm going to take a sip of it.
Take a sip of it,
Let's take
and
a
it's spicy.
Ooh,
It reminds you
spicy.
of working with chilies in the kitchen, and that feeling of almost like rubbing it in your eyes, and you feel your eyes starting to water slightly, even just having a simple sip. And again, it's very potent. You can almost feel the alcohol in it like hit you really, really fast right away. But you feel energized. You feel like a buzz. Like you took like 3 cups of espresso really, really fast, and you feel like a buzz for a little bit.
Thank you. And then I'm gonna feel the emotion. I'm gonna feel like thank you, like grateful. I
Grateful?
guess. Yeah.
And the bee tender will
Bee tender, yeah.
also give gratitude back, and you can kind of feel that swell. But for he will like gesture a little bit, but it's not quite a normal gesture. It's more like it's not like with his hands.
Like
It's
a
like his
have a good
antenna kind of start moving and like
Do we
pointing.
not pay him?
He hasn't seemed to. He's not. There's no expectation that you're getting from him
Remember,
so far.
it's like you don't. If they're happy with what you get or something like that, then you're happy with what
It's
you
bartering, so you
Yeah.
probably have to trade something for it.
get. If what I've done, yeah. I don't know how many
What that
bartering,
means.
So I
But it's pointing. But the antennas are pointing at like Gray and at Pippin at the table.
they're pointing at us from
Like
the
toward,
table.
you can see like directing.
I'm gonna like sit down and be like, oh, and kick my leg up. My leg that's like slowly going back to its normal size.
And it's also like when you see him kick it up, you can see it's like way more buff than Pippin's leg normally is.
Oh,
It's
this
like
is-
filling out his pant leg way more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think that this would happen today. I'm doing all this walking, Gray.
Yeah, I mean, you really should lay off on the injections.
How's my spot?
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah,
It's really
it's really
bad.
itchy.
Ooh.
I'm making progress though.
And what?
My project?
Yeah, it doesn't look so good. I've seen like different kind of like cross kind of like bio testing like this, and it's not so good all the time.
Well, I'm hoping I'll be able to create a body eventually. We'll see how it goes.
I mean, tests from the military showed over 75% failure rates.
The
Many
military,
dead.
They have alchemists in the military in the Riverlands.
Some, I didn't talk to them much. They kind of were snobby.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, alchemists tend to be snobby. I don't think I'm snobby personally though.
Right.
But geez, this spot is so itchy. I think is Lonan getting us drinks? Lonan?
So you look over and you see like Lonan kind of jittering,
I'm just
and you
like-
see Eerie glowing.
I'm like holding it like
Oh my goodness.
I'm like a bunch of Red Bulls. I'm just like
He's actually like a jackhammer.
I'm going to bring just like the one over like to the table. What is it? Very good drink. I don't know if you want to have a sip for yourself, Pippin.
I don't. That doesn't look.
Gray, would you like to have a sip of this, Pip?
No,
Come on, Pip,
thank
Pip.
you.
Pip, Gray, I don't know if you want to have a sip of this.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna-
take another sip of it.
Yeah, and are you taking a sip or like a
I'm
glug?
gonna drink half of it.
half of it. So you're feeling woo. So roll a d4 for me.
I don't know what you guys want to get. I'm just gonna get going very soon.
No, d4.
D4. Oops. 4.
4. You were feeling super confident.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm unfortunately I'm gonna have to take off from now. I'm gonna get my stuff done, and I gotta make sure that I can go and find myself a nice a nice book in order to keep track of this dragon.
You leaving the
I'm
bar?
gonna go down, and I'm gonna put this stuff down, and I'm gonna wander away.
Okay. So he kind of just wanders out the door, and you hear like "Ba-dum," behind you.
I feel like we should go after him.
Did you walk back with Lonan? Are you at the table, or are you still at the bar?
No, my table.
Okay.
No, I think he's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What do you think? Whoa, you're glowing more than you usually do. Uh-oh.
Eerie,
I'm just like,
is this
Yeah.
from a drink too, or is this some ability that you've developed
I
from
think
your
this
change?
is from a drink.
How much have you drinking of your drink?
Just like a few sips.
A
I'm
few
not
sips, like
doing, I'm drinking it like I
quarter,
would drink
half,
tea.
like.
I'd say a quarter.
Like
What
quarter,
color is the
roll,
light?
Roll a d4 for me then, Eerie. You're lightweight.
3.
A 3. So Eerie, you are just feeling really like brave. You just know that like, and you kind of feel like the effects of the alcohol in your mind, but you're feeling like you could like stand up to anyone right now. Like no
Yeah.
one can boss you around. Like
Okay.
you're in charge of your own life.
Yeah.
That's how you're feeling.
Interesting. Is the bar? Can we see the barkeep from where we are?
Yeah, it kind of went back, and their back is to you at this point, and they look like they're polishing some bottles, and the bottles are like bottle shaped, but they're almost like bee themed bottle shapes. They're like
They're
hives and honeycomb shapes, and one looks like a larva with a little like thing come off the top.
Great. Do you want a drink?
You definitely want to drink.
I'm gonna like
I
ease myself
think we
up.
should try.
Okay, let's go get some.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you stand, you realize that your leg has kind of went back to a more normal.
Yeah, and I'm like, finally. Jeez.
Well, let's go see what we can get.
All right. Beekeep.
Beaky.
And it'll kind of like you can see the antennas perk as it turns and puts those big compound eyes towards you.
And I will feel relaxation, like lethargy, sleepiness.
Lethargy. Okay.
Because that's actually what Pippin's feeling.
So the barkeep will start mixing a drink immediately upon seeing you. And it'll mix a whole bunch, and you can see it putting some strange little berries and some sort of fruit at the bottom of it as they pass a bowl to you. Not quite a proper glass, but it looks like a large, almost like tea saucer with
Okay.
a slightly bluish clear liquid and berries on the bottom.
I'll take a sip.
Okay. So you feel very like, very bubbly, very light. And you just took a sip. You didn't take a big gulp or anything, right?
Yeah, just a sip.
But you feel the effects of the alcohol. You don't feel drunk yet, but you feel very airy and light, almost like you can like jump 20 feet in the air.
All right. I'm gonna try to jump back to my seat.
Okay, and as you jump, Gray, roll a perception. Gray and Eerie, both of you roll a perception check really quick. Eerie, you're gonna be rolling with disadvantage because you're drunk.
15.
Okay, so Gray, you notice Pippin kind of jump, and as he jumps, he kind of like mists into the air, and he kind of like you can see Pippin's form stay kind of intact, but he kind of almost looks like he becomes the wind for a moment before landing and taking on a solid form again. And you jump all the way across the bar into the seat beside Eerie
Like
with your drink.
Mario, like.
Yeah, but you kind of turn into the wind for a moment and then
Okay.
land with your drink in hand.
And I've got my bowl, and I'll set my bowl at the table. Wow, this is a really interesting bar.
I'm
You're
just like,
okay? You look a little tipsy.
I'm just like
Fantastic.
looking at
I have
everybody.
never been better.
I'm just like looking at everybody, and like I'm just filled with like wonder and curiosity. I'm just
And
like,
you'll feel the demands kind of swell quickly and then disappear as the bee turns around and starts preparing another drink. This one in a typical wine glass.
Well,
And it's-
what was your emotion? Sorry.
wonder and curiosity.
And the drink, they'll start mixing the drink. And it's in a typical wine glass. And this one is a similar ambery color to what Eerie's looks like. But it doesn't have the same kind of brightness to it. And as a final touch, he reaches under the counter and grabs something. And they pull out what looks like an eye and drop it into the glass and pass it to you.
An eyeball?
It's good because he's curious because he wants to try something new, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
I'm just looking at the glass, and I just take my like wine sip.
Yeah. Okay, and as you take a sip, you can almost feel the effect on your face. You can feel your skin kind of pulling taut,
Oh no.
and your eyes almost like filling out. But you feel great. You feel almost like more awake than you have
Wow.
in a while.
What does he look like?
And as both of you roll perception, you again with disadvantage because you're still
As I
drunk.
turn around.
As you turn around,
Just like horrifying grimace. Perception?
yeah.
13.
Oh, with a disadvantage? Nice.
8,
Hey.
9.
9. So Eerie, you notice Gray looks like 10 years younger. Like his beard is fuller, his face is healthier. He has like not a literal glow, but like a healthy, nice.
Looks like he's actually slept.
It's
He looks like he had a really good night's sleep, and you know Gray never sleeps.
Yeah.
It's Botox strength.
Yeah,
Did
literally.
I ever tell you that you Alright, handsome man, is what Yuri says to him.
I take another sip of wine.
Okay.
I will drink some more of my bowl.
So about how much have you guys drinking at this point?
I'm almost done.
You're almost done.
half.
So I'm gonna have you roll a Constitution saving throw.
Well, my constitution is 0, so. Oh, it's
Look
a
at
Saving
different-
throw. You might have a bonus to it.
She doesn't.
Nope.
So 12. Yes.
12. Oh, okay, you're fine. Nothing else happens. You feel very confident still. And you're starting to probably slur a little bit. You're getting past the point. Like, one drink might be too much for Erie. What's your constitution?
Constitution.
Like, what's your, modifier?
It is 1.
1. Okay.
Yes. I've had half.
You're okay.
What's my constitution modifier?
Yeah.
2?
2. So you... This is higher than Grace.
Yeah.
You're also okay. So you just feel you still feel light and airy and bubbly and good, and you still feel this tautness and kind of this rest. You feel good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like.
But no effects of the
rested
alcohol.
amazing.
Super heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not drunk yet.
Yeah.
But Erie's drunk.
Erie's shit face.
Yeah.
And she's
I have-
also, for some reason, super,
Yeah, she's a little
feeling
flirty.
herself.
Yeah.
I think she's, the hottest in the room.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you having a good time over there, Erie?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, you're getting really bright.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and
it's
you still have this. You maintain this glow.
Is the glow getting brighter?
No, it
as
has
she's
maintained.
drunker? Okay.
You can tell. It's almost like she's a lamp.
Okay.
That's how bright it is.
Wow. Well,
That's really creepy with my black eyes.
Yeah, it's 20 feet of light, bright
that's so
light
cool.
around her.
She's sitting at the table with
So
us.
we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna jump to Lonan. And
Okay.
Lonan, how much of the drink have you drinking at this point?
So I drank. I
You
still
left it at the table.
I left it at the table, but I drank half of it.
Half of it. And what's your Constitution modifier?
+1.
+1. So Lonan, I'm gonna have you roll a. Oh wait, no, you already rolled. You already rolled the d4. So
Yeah.
you are still drunk. So you are just feeling super confident. You are feeling like you can just rule the world and get whatever you want right now.
Am I still bzzz?
Yeah, you're still jittery. It's starting to wear off a little bit, the jitters.
Okay.
As you're walking out the door, the jitters kind of start to fade, but you're still feeling the effects of the alcohol. The jitteriness is gone.
Okay.
You might be jittering still just because
Yeah.
you don't realize it's worn off when you're
That's
drunk.
still there. Okay.
Right.
When I walk out the door, what is there?
What is there? You see that the small, kind of bulbous hive buildings underneath this waxy kind of dome. And you see the small groups of Naipan, handing off goods to one another. Some of the larger ones are, pulling big sleds full of different goods. Lots of jars made of some weird shaped clay that are capped with lids, and you can't. They wonder
Is
what's
there?
inside.
I'm gonna power walk as fast as I can to the middle. I'm gonna look around as many things as I can.
Okay, and you see roll
Does
perception.
I want to look for something that looks for maybe maybe books, if anything, or somebody that looks, one of the older elderly Naipan, I guess, and or maybe an area that has maybe some cool what I could maybe recognize as the thing that got pointed at Gray. If they have anything like that.
Oh, the
weapons, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll perception with disadvantage because you're drunk.
Oh, nice.
18.
8 with disadvantage?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm
Yeah.
impressed. So you're looking around and you don't see anything that really seems familiar to a book. You can see you do see an elderly looking bug creature with long, silky looking wings that are a little rugged on the bottom, and tall, fuzzy antenna, almost moth-like,
Okay.
with a big hunch, very white coloration. That what make you think
He might know.
that they're older. You
Okay.
think they're an elder because of the looks. And you see them kind of walking down the street with some strange tubes under their arm. And you also see, again, some of the larger Naipan walking around with large spears with intricately designed heads.
I'm gonna first go up to the old man.
Okay.
Hello, good sir. I don't know if you can understand me right now, but I'm looking to get some help. I don't know if you can help me. And I'm gonna start on the inside. I'm gonna try to feel. Right. I gotta start feeling very good. On the inside, I'm gonna try to feel what kind of emotion would be like knowledge? I guess. I don't
Don't
know.
help him. Yes, I think it was.
Yeah. So the Night will look over, and the fuzzy antenna will kind of like shakily turn towards you as the rest of the body
I
turns,
guess
and you'll feel like the kind of like a greeting, like almost like a jolly kind of feeling inside.
Okay, and then on the inside of me, I'm gonna feel happy
Okay.
for like meeting them.
And then the Night will start to turn away as you feel happy.
Then I'm gonna feel curious. I'm gonna
Curious, and you'll feel that they'll turn back, and that curiosity will kind of come back inside you.
Okay. I am, and I'm going to reveal. I'm gonna reveal a part of the egg, and I'm gonna point at the egg, to this little knife hand.
And then you'll feel like a kind of a more intense curiosity as the small, like 3-fingered
Does he want to put his hand? Does he want to touch
finger
it?
will reach to the 3-fingered hand,
No, sir. No.
and then the hand will go back down, and the curiosity will kind of start fading, and then you kind of feel like disinterest.
Okay, I'm gonna reveal more of it. But I
And
don't
the
wanna-
kind of interest and curiosity will start peaking again as it gets revealed again.
His hand goes there.
Yeah, and the hand will start rising.
Oh my god.
All right. I'm I'm gonna put it closer to him, but I'm gonna hold it in my hand, like really close. And then let
And the 3 fingers, and they're kind of like imagine like the ends of like a beetle's hand, like the small hair, like appendages sticking out, will like rub across.
It just cracks.
And then the Night will put its hand back,
it.
and the disinterest will come back, and then the Night will start turning away.
Doesn't seem like this Night Pan wants to have anything to do with me. And I'm gonna run over to the person with the spear.
Okay.
And then once again, I'm gonna feel curious. I guess I feel curious.
And so you go over to the one with the spear.
Yeah.
And again, you kind of feel like an annoyance towards you. Like a kind of gruff, like bored annoyance.
Okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this. I'm gonna speed walk back to the bar.
Okay, and as you see, Erie's like lounging, empty drink in her hands, glowing.
So I'm gonna walk back to the table.
This probably only took like
this point,
10 minutes. It was not a very long
Pippin
excursion.
will have been done his drink and gotten another.
So you have finished your drink.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have you roll a d4,
I would have just finished my wine.
and you can finish a d4. You can roll a d4 as well.
I rolled a 4.
A 4. So you are feeling very like you can get your way. You feel like you can like smooth talk your way out of like prison today.
Guys, I'm just so confident.
Same way.
Okay.
So we have 3 cocky ones, and then Erie who feels like she can like punch someone in the face and get away with it. Like,
Seems as if I have no idea.
Lonan, welcome back, buddy.
Hello, Pippin.
You know, I'm so happy with how everything's going. I was so worried after the city, but now I'm just, things are going so well. I'm so close.
Yes, Pippin. How much have you guys had to drink here?
Oh, we just had one drink. But
I'm
I'm
on my
feeling
second
young.
one. Try it. It's like a soup
As you guys
bowl.
look, I want Erie to be up at the bar getting another drink.
yeah.
But
But like kind of sloppily, like, ugh.
She's feeling confidence. This time.
Confident.
That's her.
So confidence actually would get you the same drink as before.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
Lonan, where did you go?
I attempted to go talk to these people, but obviously I have no idea what
They
I'm
can't
doing.
talk, Lonan. They can't talk.
I know I feel, and all I could feel is curiosity. There's no way of communicating with them like that.
Come on.
I'm gonna drink. Well, I feel like I need to have a little bit of what
Have
Pippin
some
is
of mine.
drinking.
It's
And
good.
I'm
It's
actually
good.
going to take. I'm gonna take his, and I'm gonna pour it in mine, and I'm gonna mix the two together and drink it.
Oh,
Roll a
no.
d100.
Pardon?
Roll a d100.
Oh no! Is there any potions?
Roll those 2. Yeah, roll the. I
Is
think.
it permanent effect?
Yeah, roll those 2. 72.
1 second.
Wait, no.
I wasn't ready for this.
70 and 2, yeah.
Okay.
He's dead.
72.
Do you want the potion mixing table?
Yeah, I need the potion mixing table.
Oh,
Yes, I need the potion mixing table.
Maybe not.
Because everybody else, the bartender would have given you the same drink.
They're potions.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why do you think Erie's glowing?
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, so you kind of
I just.
Aw. You should see the stuff that he's drawn over here.
So you feel the jitteriness kind of almost like come back to you as soon as you're drinking the drink. But you feel the jitteriness, and then you almost feel like a lightheadedness, and your body almost feels like lighter than air. So you're like jittery and like have a ton of energy, but like you almost like it feels like every step is gonna send you flying.
Really?
Yeah.
Guys.
Can I know what this did or no?
Well, that's what he told you.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what you feel.
Guys, this is so good.
Am I having like trouble staying in my seat because I feel like I'm like floating?
Because of you almost feel like because of the jitteriness, like you're feeling like
Like
you
I'm
can't
not on
stay.
my seat. Like
Yeah,
it's like
you almost feel like you're hovering a little bit.
I don't know about you guys, but it seems like this inn is very, very energetic.
Also,
Great.
roll another Constitution saving throw for me. God, you guys have so many things for me to roll today.
So just roll this.
10.
10. So you get 1 point of exhaustion, and because you just like you're drinking so much, the alcohol is really starting to weigh on you, and you feel the you're just feeling really anxious because of the strange floating nature of the drink that you just had that Pippin has had. Pippin's like calm having it.
Yeah,
taken.
I'm like a good, like, relaxed drunk, and I'm like, guys, I'm so happy with how my experiments are going. I'm getting so close. You know, soon I think I'll be able to grow a body. It's gonna be great. I just need the facilities.
Just gotta be careful with these experiments, Pippin. You could get
Yeah.
you very, very, very.
You just want to make sure.
How's my green spot? How's it look?
How's it looking?
The green spot is kind of starting to like fade up. It's almost like as you're watching, you almost feel like you can see it like go oozing back into his head.
Okay.
Is it good?
Seems to be going away. Good.
Oh, that's interesting.
Looks
I
the
wonder,
same to me.
I wonder what effects will happen next.
It's very hard to tell.
It is.
The rest of you three roll a Constitution saving throw. Because you're on your second drinks now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Was that a nat one?
Oh no! I got a
like
7.
So close to roll down to a
Oh no.
7.
21.
So Eerie downs the rest of her drink and then just like boom, and slams into the table and you pass out.
Oh
I have a question. Does she transform?
Still glowing.
Does she transform into anything?
No, she was in her unless had you transformed during this exchange? No. So you're in your base form, so you don't transform.
Me IRL.
Two
Oh,
drinks.
no,
Don't.
Eerie.
2 drinks out.
Great, turn her head on its side so she's
Uh-huh.
not laying on the table.
Yes.
And you
yes,
turn her
yes.
head and like drool is just pouring.
Oh,
Oh,
she's good. She's good.
Is it like glowing?
Yeah, the drool's also glowing.
Oh wow.
Guys,
Cute.
Gray, how are you? Gray.
Oh, I feel full of life.
Gray, I never asked. What was it like being a soldier?
Oh.
Is it good?
Oh,
It-
yeah, you're also exhausted now.
Oh.
But your skin is still gorgeous.
I mean, it's
Yeah, it's a
pretty
weird feeling because you
tiring.
feel like rested because of
Yeah.
the alcohol, but also tired from it. You're in a weird place.
as I'm drinking more.
Gray, tell me a
Yeah.
war story. Tell me a war story. Lonan, do you want to hear a war story?
I might as well get it now.
Let's hear a war story.
This one keeps me up sometimes. So. So back in the battle of the Great Riverlands and the river of
Princedoms?
yes and the river of Toonami.
River of Toonami.
Yes, I bravely secured and rescued 15 people. It was the bravest thing I've ever done.
What'd you rescue them from?
Oh my gosh, it was the Great Ship Fire.
What?
Yeah.
The Great Ship Fire?
Yes.
That's
Did they say
incredible.
ship?
Ship fire.
Oh, they said shit fire. I was like,
The
what?
great,
Was
the great shit fire.
It was raining down.
Everything, all
Well,
the
that
shit.
sounds like a shitty fire.
That's what.
Yes.
That is what Lonan hears.
Yeah.
He hears the great shit fire.
Yeah, the toilets on the
Totally
ship caught fire.
My favorite is the thing I'm doing.
Yes, but I basically had to go on the ship and I slapped them all and I was able to kind of give them some life and then throw them off and had other team
I have a
members.
question. Is Eerie dreaming this because she's hearing this?
Eerie's like imagining herself like dancing and her arms are tentacles and she's just like on the sun.
On the ship fire.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
good. And you saved them from the fire.
I did. I got a medal. It was
Really?
very good.
Touching story.
Oh,
Very touching.
I know, me and Rinder, we once saved these group of people who were trekking across the desert and there was some sort of like flaming cactus monster after them.
Whoa, who's Render?
And then Pippin's gonna kind of like blink.
Random.
Roll another Constitution saving throw.
Another Constitution saving.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
16.
So Pippin, you're gonna feel this like tightness in your chest, and you kind of try to catch your breath, and you can't, and it feels like your lungs can't expand anymore. It feels like they're too big for your chest.
Okay. And what's happening?
Can I examine? What is he doing?
So
I'm gonna stand up.
Do I need to perform the Heimlich?
do what you think Gray would do.
Pippin, are you okay?
Can I talk?
I'm gonna
You can, like raspily.
I don't know.
I'm gonna come from behind him, and then I'm gonna do like 1 point of lay on hands, and I'm just gonna like start to give him a Heimlich because I think he's like choking on
Dude,
something.
and nothing happens with the lay on hands. You can kind of feel the energy not absorb into him.
My gosh.
Yeah. And at this point, Pippin, you can't breathe.
I'm gonna do the universal sign of I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna
I'm
keep
gonna look
on
at
like
Lona.
trying to like
What do we
get him
do?
air.
Yeah.
I'm doing the
What is it?
Heimlich.
I'm gonna look at his like potion bag thing, and is there any indication that says like healing, blah blah blah, blah or anything on
I
it?
don't label.
What do you mean? Yeah, like his potion models? Yeah, they're just
Would
like.
I know
random
anything?
models.
Would I know of anything? 'Cause
I will let you roll
Yeah, 'cause
a
I worked on potions with him.
roll an intelligence check.
No!
6.
No, you don't know. You're in a panic. All the vials look the same. They all look the same color maroon. You're
Hold on. Do I have a?
Is what I'm doing nothing?
What are you trying to do?
So are you pumping individual points
Yeah,
in
I'm
every
just like-
time? Nothing's after like a few. You notice nothing happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick him up and lay him down on the table.
Okay.
And then
And
I'm
you'll
gonna feel his
feel
chest.
and you'll feel concern kind of swell in your chest, like another concern.
Somebody else's concern?
Yeah.
I start turning
If you,
blue.
and you see the beekeeper kind of walk up
beekeeper?
beside you.
I'm gonna feel concern as well. I'm just gonna. He's conscious, right?
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
And as you so you're doing on his chest now?
Yes.
Okay, one second. You roll
11.
11. You're okay. So you're still conscious, but he's kind of like his skin is turning very pale.
What is happening to my chest?
You can't like breathe. It feels like your lungs are too big for your chest, but that's all you know. You're kind of in a panic state,
Oh
and
no!
Yeah.
I'm
I
starting
know
to see
what's
the air.
happening.
so as you kind of push down his chest, you can't like. It feels like way more like resistance in his chest cavity than there should be.
Can I try to use 5 points of lay on hands to remove a disease or anything? like
Okay,
that?
tell me. You have to read to me exactly what I can remove, and then depends.
Slam hands cannot remove disease. It just heals.
No,
Oh, okay.
5 points at once. Instead of doing the 5 points healing, can do something else. I just need to know what it does.
So you can also cure one poison or disease from a creature by sacrificing 5 points from my reservoir.
So
I didn't
you
know that.
can, in fact, cure a poison from Pippin's system. And as you do it, a pulse of almost like black lightning arcs through Pippin's body. And you can see the spot of green on his head just like dissolve away to nothing and just like shoots back into his normal form because it was only slightly longer than it was. And his chest like finally like goes back in and you hear as Pippin takes another breath.
My
Here, you
concern.
roll just a perception check with disadvantage for me. Yeah, I want to see if you wake up from this.
Pippin.
Actually, wait. You have what's your feat that you took? You took observant, right?
Oh, did you?
I believe you took the observant feat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your passive perception then?
It should be on
It
the bottom.
is 18.
18.
No,
So
that's passive wisdom, same thing?
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
perception and
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, 18.
so you kind of like startle awake and you feel like awful.
Yeah.
Like you wake up from being on the sun and you're like in the earth. You're like dead 6 feet under. You're like oh.
Right.
But you see Pippin lying on the table in front of you. All the drinks are spilt all over the place. The bee looks very concerned. All 4 of its arms are kind of like wringing their hands.
Aw.
I went from concern to relief once I started
Yeah.
breathing.
And I'm gonna
again.
kind of sit up on the table.
Pippin, what just happened, Pippin?
Oh wait, Pippin, also roll a D100 for me.
Oh,
I
I
just
was gonna be
I
a permanent
forgot you
change.
had a potion affecting you when you tied the alcohol. So roll a D100.
It did? Oh, you're right.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
no. Okay.
What is it? What does it die? What does it say? It's a
No,
10.
you can re-roll. Off the table doesn't count.
Alright.
45.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, nothing special happens.
Okay.
You're lucky.
Did nothing special happen to me?
No,
No.
something happened to you.
No, nothing special happened to Lona either.
Okay.
Yeah. They both affected
Huh.
you.
Great, thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how about no more
It
experiments?
felt like my lungs were gonna burst out of my chest.
Was that because
Do I notice the thing on his head gone?
Yeah, you noticed everything go back to normal because
You're lucky
you
Gray
kind of
was
like
here,
you're
just so you know.
like exhausted, but you
Mhm.
kind of like it kind of almost went away for a moment. 'cause
I
you were in the
am
heat.
lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Gray. I think. Am I still drunk or did he heal my drunkenness?
I could do
Does
an
it say,
extra 5
does it say
points.
one? Does it say
It's
one?
5 points per disease or anything that I.
So you only cured
I
one,
went
so
to
you're
the-
still drunk, and you're still feeling airy and light.
Oh, thank you, Gray. I think my lungs were growing inside my body.
Could this have any effect on what you've been, the experiments that you've been doing?
I'm almost 100%
I
certain that's
feel a
what
connection.
happened.
Now, can we agree that it's not such a great idea?
No, I'm so close, Lonan. I'm so close.
So Pippin, you'll feel like a deep, almost like dreading concern in your
I'll
chest,
look over at the Nipan.
and like their hands are wringing. I didn't say how tall they were. They're probably only about 4 feet.
I'll
tall.
give him a thumbs up and give him like it's all okay feeling.
And you'll feel like a flood of relief almost through your whole system. And before the hands stop ringing, and they kind of like collect up the drinks and walk away.
And I'm like, as they come by, I'm gonna gesture like no more.
And you'll kind of feel like a stop emotion right
Yeah.
in your chest, and
Yeah.
and you'll feel like a confirmation.
And I'll kind of climb down off the table.
I think we
Oh,
got
that
enough for
was
this
close.
9 drink, if you ask me.
That was
Erie
so
was
close.
finally waking up after this.
Hey, Erie.
It's eerie.
How do
You
we?
missed, you missed what happened. I almost suffocated.
You look up and you can see like you can actually see where her iris is because the black sclera is like shot through with like almost like a silvery purple like bloodshot.
Uh-huh.
How do we?
Yeah.
How do
Pippin
we?
almost did not survive.
Yeah. How do we get a room?
This is interesting. I'll be able to make notes about this. What happened?
I'm gonna gesture to the Nipan, and I'm going to emotion rest or
Right. That's not really
relaxation.
Relaxation.
Are there gonna be like honeycomb?
Yeah.
And
it's
the
gonna be my
Nipan
drink.
will you'll get like an affirmation feeling like an acceptance in your chest as the Nipan will kind of like walk up a staircase that you didn't notice that kind of like is behind the bar
Okay.
and disappear.
I'm gonna follow him.
It's behind the bar, so you wouldn't be able to
Oh,
access it.
never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Erie, how are you? Erie.
Erie, don't give him any more blood, okay?
Great. Can you help her? Can you help her? She's not feeling good. Like you did to me.
Well, you were dying.
Okay. I was dying.
It seems as if so.
I was fine.
You couldn't
I
breathe.
was fine.
Pippin, there's no convincing you that what you're doing is not good for yourself.
You have to stop putting these awful things inside of you.
No, I'm so close. I've learned. I think I'll be able to grow something soon.
If I wasn't there, you'd be dead.
So imagine if you were by yourself, like I mentioned on the
Mhm.
ship, right? Remember on the ship I said, how would Tenaculum have saved you? And also, what if something happens to you and Gray is incapacitated or off doing something else?
Yeah, what if my healing capability just vanished away somehow and I couldn't do anything?
Can that happen?
I don't know.
Eerie's just gonna pull her hood up over her head.
And like type of
But
things.
yeah.
And in that moment, the Nipan will come down and with like what looks like a pile of like honeycomb cushions in their arm, and like it looks like Aiden laid them down.
Just in the bar.
Yeah, like beside the table.
Eerie's wants to
We're
just crawl
sleeping
into
in-
one.
Yeah, and you get quiet on, and it's a little small, and that's why they brought 2 each, so you can lay over top of both of them and just like.
Are they're honeycomb shaped?
Yeah, they're soft, but they're kind of this weird gooey texture. But
Like
they're
tenaculum.
kind of.
Yeah.
It is very similar, but it's like a smooth tenaculum feeling.
Okay.
Great, Lonan. I'm just,
Pippin, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
No, listen.
I'm gonna ignore everything he says.
No, Gray, you'll listen, right? Gray, listen. I've had a lot to drink, but I think that pretty soon I'm gonna make a really good step towards my project. I think now that I've got the physical form figured out, then I can figure out
the figure out the spiritual
I look at him
form.
in the eye, and I know what he's saying. Who's Rinda?
And then Pippin's gonna kind of like, how do you know that name?
You told us quite a bit of things about Rinda when you were. I thought we talked about not keeping things secret.
It's kind of a long. Gray, can you sober me up?
No, I think you should just go to bed.
Before, how about this one story and then bedtime? Explain to us who Rinda is and.
I don't know why we have to pry. I mean, it could be his
Rinda-
like friend or something.
Well, he was more.
Oh, shut up.
He was more than that, Gray. And then Pippin's gonna kind of like look sad.
It's okay, buddy.
I'm gonna sit on the honeycomb.
Well, perhaps for another night then.
I'll pat him on the back till he sleeps, until I fall asleep against a chair.
Okay. And you guys are all pretty drunk.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that despite anyone's best efforts, you guys
I'll throw
all pass out. Erie, you were convenient, like unfortunately the last one to fall asleep. Because you have this like pounding, like boom, boom. And the light that is like, you realize as you close your eyes, the light, you can see the light that your skin is like giving off still, and you're like, so you like, after an hour though, the light fades and you notice it fading, and the lightness stops. And you look over at Gray and you can see the crow's eye wrinkles and the bags under his eyes once more, before you drift off to sleep. And who knows how long passed. The light of the bar is the same when you open your eyes. Everybody roll a d20 for me just to see who wakes up first. And whoever's highest will wake up first.
16.
4.
16.
So Pippin and Erie, how did you roll both?
I don't
What the
know.
heck is this?
This is
Okay.
insane.
So Pippin and Erie, you guys wake up to the sound of the door opening in the bar, and a "Good morning" in a familiar voice of Akano. Good morning. Good morning.
How do we feel?
You guys feel hungover, headaches, really dry mouths, but ultimately better than the night before.
Wow.
I have some great news for you.
Not so loud.
Oh, wake those two up. They'll want to hear, especially Lone in here.
Lona, get up.
And you guys
I
feel
mean,
it
I
kind
want to
of.
poke at him, but like accidentally poke him in the eye.
Yeah. And now it's a little bit like a little bit
Yeah,
more bruised.
I'm just like rubbing
Yeah.
it.
Good morning.
Great news, everyone!
Great.
I found someone who can barter.
Oh, are they
Yes.
with you?
No, come with me. Queen Fizoa Hips would like to trade with you herself.
The queen.
queen
You're gonna
herself.
trade us to the queen?
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session
The
of
queen!
All Fun and Dice.
Yo! Woo! We had some drinking.
Fun session, guys.
That was really good.
Very good drunk roleplay. Everybody felt very realistic.
That was some
Wow.
fun stuff.
That was awesome.
That was
We will
so
see you guys
fun.
next Friday.
Yes. A couple things I didn't mention. Below me right now, you can see awesome new art for Erie Drum. Drock? Is that your last name?
Drop.
Derek.
Derek. Sorry, I was like, I can't read it from
The
here.
Rock.
It's gray now, but it's awesome. Railgunner did an amazing job of it again. Right now it's gray, but it'll cycle through. Look back if you can. It's really, really good.
It'll be posted on
Um,
our Instagram soon if you want to
yes.
follow our official All Fun and Dice Instagram, which
Yes.
is All Fun and Dice on Instagram.
And
Yes.
guys, if you want, feel free to, follow us on YouTube as well too, and subscribe, so that way you guys can get the old videos.
And if there's anything, you can always catch up. If this is your first episode, or if you started a while ago, you can watch from the beginning, get every
Yep.
story. Also, the Naipan is a homebrew race that I myself developed.
Cool.
I'm going to be posting, we can post some pictures on the Discord as well, on Instagram, and I'm going to be posting the sheet, my
PDF.
homebrewery PDF that I made on the Discord later tonight.
Yeah.
I like
So
that
if you
one.
guys want
Me
to ever
too.
play a Naipan in your own campaigns at home, I tried to balance it as best as I could, talk to your GMs, and let me know if you ever play one. It would mean like literally the world to me because I put a lot
Cool.
of love and effort into
I
it.
think they're really
Nice.
cool.
I think they're really cool too.
That's
So thank you guys all for playing tonight, and thank you guys all for watching.
Yeah.
We will see you next week. So don't forget to
Stick
stick
around.
around.
Good night.